Okay, ma'am, we can start, ma'am.
Just a minute, sir. I'll ask principal sir to join. Just a minute,
Yes.
sir.
Namaste, ma'am. Rima, ma'am, namaste.
Hello.
Namaste,
Rima, ma'am.
namaste,
Namaste,
Hearty
ma'am.
welcome.
namaste. Very good morning to all of you.
Very good morning, ma'am.
Ma'am, we have got Auditor Sarvana Prabhu
Oh,
with us in the panel.
namaste, sir.
And as usual, you must be knowing Purnima, ma'am, Prabha, ma'am.
Yes.
And from the Andavan College, we have got Soumya. We have
Soumya,
got
hello, Soumya. How are you?
Yeah, ma'am. Fine, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
Good, good.
So nice of being
Doing
here.
good.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
we have got Ambika Velu, Assistant Professor from the Commerce Department. Mehraj Banu, Assistant Professor of the Commerce Department.
Okay.
Principal
Okay.
Dr. M. Pichaimani will join us very shortly.
Okay.
And I think we have a student coordinator by name Subiksha also today.
Okay.
We have Madam Usharani also who has joined us. Head of the
Yes, of course, sir.
department.
She is head of the department, ma'am.
Okay.
Namaste, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Namaste.
our
Sharani,
principal
ma'am.
sir has joined, ma'am. Our principal sir has also joined, ma'am.
Pichaimani sir, hearty welcome.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, very good morning.
Sir, start பண்ணலாமா sir?
Start பண்ணிடலாம் ma'am.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Principal sir, sir, start பண்ணலாமாங்க sir?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good
problem.
morning. Oh.
Good morning. Good morning.
A pleasant morning to one and all gathered here. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge. We, the Srimad Andavan Arts and Science College, Tiruchirappalli, and Nigama Samaj at PG and Research Department of Commerce are very privileged and happy to invite you all for the Knowledge Enrichment Program in association with the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Knowledge is a power, and investment in knowledge pays the best interest always. In order to update our knowledge in the field of taxation, union budget, Nigama Samaj and PG and Research Department of Commerce organized the program for the benefit of upgrading the knowledge relating to Union Budget 22-23, which was presented by the Honorable Finance Minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman on February 1. It's a remark of honoring tradition to invoke the Almighty at the beginning of an important event. One can change a moment, one song can change a moment, one idea can change a world. One step can start a journey, but a prayer can change anything and everything. Now I call upon our students to sing a prayer song. May I now call Subiksha to sing a prayer song.
वन्दामहे श्रीमदाण्डवन् पादुकाङ्कम्
श्रीरङ्गक्षेत्रपवित्रोज्ज्वलपारिजातम् यत्र मानवाः सर्वे सन्मार्गदर्शिताः नित्यं पठन्ति ते विज्ञानकलाभाषाः पाठातिरिक्तविषयेऽपि प्रवृत्तास्ते सुशीलगुणावपि अनुचरन्ति नित्यम् नानाकलाक्रीडेष्वपि सुशोभिताः सर्वत्र सर्वदा ते आत्मप्रभावैः ओषधि वने स्थापित प्रयोगशालासु सम्यक् प्रकाशयन्ति ते स्वप्रभावम् अत्रैवानीतयन्त्रविद्यासु निपुणास्ते विदेशेऽपि उज्ज्वालयन्ति शालाप्रभावम्
Thank you, students.
நீராடும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடர்ந்த கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ் வரத கண்டமிது தெக்கனமும் அது சிறந்த திராவிடனர் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு விரைநுதலும் தரிதனலும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல நிதுலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் வழக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே சீரிலமே நிரப்பிய செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you, students. Welcoming and gratitude is a well begin and an end to everything. But we believe that there is none and never an end, but always a pleasant beginning. Now I request our head, Nigama Samaj of PG and Research Department of Commerce, Dr. M. Musha Rani, to welcome the gathering.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. A very pleasant morning to one and all present here. And may I take this immense pleasure to welcome you all and to extend a further word of welcome to everyone here to this program. Our gathering takes a special meaning and helps to us for enrich our knowledge due to their presence. We are honored this morning by the presence of our Honorable Special Guest CMA Chittaranjan Chattopadhyaya, Chairman, Banking and Financial Services, Insurance Board of Institute of Cost Accountant of India, and our Secretary and Correspondent CA Mangi Balaji, who are delightful on this occasion. Next, I would like to extend our warm welcome to our most invaluable invited speaker as well as expert in taxation for sharing their regarding the equality. CMA M. Associate Chartered Accountant, welcome you, sir. Dr. T. S. Prema, Associate Professor, Department of Economics, Business and Business Economics, VARAHA, Govardhan, Vishnava College from Chennai. Welcome you, ma'am. Dr. A. S. Purnima, Assistant Professor, Sri Ramachandra, Faculty of Management Sciences, Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education, Education and Research from Chennai. Welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Prabha Rajagopalan, Associate Professor, Head, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, VARAHA, Govardhan, Vishnava College from Chennai. Welcome you, ma'am. Next, I will welcome our Dr. Rajachitra Manivannan, Business Consultant and Assistant Professor, Department of Corporate Secretaryship, VARAHA, Govardhan, Vishnava College from Chennai. Welcome you, ma'am. I extend my welcome to our beloved principal, Dr. M. Digitization, for facilitating the gathering in this program. Welcome you, sir. I also welcome
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, yes, sir. CMA Rakesh Ravishankar, sir, for joining hands with us in this program. Welcome you, sir. My heartfelt welcome to our faculty members. Welcome you, friends. Finally, I welcome our students for participating and developing their knowledge by attending this program. Welcome you, students. Once again, I welcome you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. Here we have such an energetic person who has expanded himself to change the society and light the darkness in the life of younger generation community. He is none other than our beloved principal of Srimad Andavan Arts and Science College, Dr. M. Pichaimani. Now I request our respected principal to felicitate the gathering.
Most respected Secretary and Correspondent, Sri Ammangivi Balaji, most respected resource persons from various institutions and organizations, respected HOD and faculty colleagues of PG and Research Department of Commerce, and my dear student friends, a pleasant morning to one and all gathered here for hearing the highlights and overview of the Union Budget 22-23. Dear students, why we have this session today is nothing but to understand about our nation's financial plan, and involves examining and explaining the components of budget expenditure and revenue. It also can help to improve understanding of issues such as the level of implementation of expenditure and revenue budget. The budget analysis is a crucial in evaluating government decisions about allocation and distribution of scarce resources among competing priorities, and whether adequate resources are allocated to human rights. The analysis includes how funds are allocated and how revenue is obtained. From the speech of our finance minister, this year's budget lays focus on 7 pillars for reviving the economy: health and well-being, physical and financial, capital and infrastructure, inclusive development for aspirational India, reactivated human capital, innovation and R&D, and maximum government, maximum governance, etc. Dear students, this is our first program after signing the MOU with CME Institute, and there are many experts are going to deliver the lecture on various titles in a lucid manner. Really, it is going to be a informative session and helps to increase your understanding level about the union budget into various titles. At the juncture, I would like to convey my hearty congratulations to the organizers for arranging this session for our students, and I thank all the eminent resource persons for their kind concern to take part in this program. At the same time, I ask the participants, please make use of this session thoroughly and try to derive the maximum possible extent of benefit out of it. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
A small announcement to all the participants. Our CMA Chittaranjan Chattopadhyay is in a meeting with the Honorable Member of Parliament, Parliamentary Committee in Ranchi. So he may be joining us anytime. And due to the official pressure and the due date of the filing of income tax returns, the Secretary and Correspondent of Srimad Andavan Arts and Science College, C.A. Ammangivi Balaji, is held up in the income tax return filing work. So he has assured his best wishes for the program, for the information of the participants.
Thank you, Rakesh, sir. Students and friends, it's a small introduction by, about our chief guest of today's resource persons. First, I would like to share about few words about CMA Saravana Prabhu, sir. Actually, CMA Saravana Prabhu, sir, has cleared his graduation in commerce and a silver medalist in Vivekananda College, Chennai. He is a qualified cost accountant, an associate member of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. He is also an All India gold medalist and has also secured All India 7th rank of ICAA final. He is an author of All India rank holder in CA examinations, a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and a CA in practice with over a decade of experience in the field of taxation. He is also an author of articles on various GST topics, faculty at various institutes including National Academy of Customs, Indirect Tax and Narcotics, Direct Taxes, Regional Training Institute, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, various colleges and academic institutions, among others. He was also a part of editorial board of various books, including GST. He has addressed nearly 250 technical and public outreach programs in GST, covering 37,000 plus individuals in and around India. He has also appeared in numerous TV programs, interviewing relating to GST, finance, and prominent TV channels, and is a regular commentator on topic of finance, economics, and public domain. Next, I would like to share a few words about Dr. T.S. Prema. Dr. T.S. Prema is having a rich experience of 34 years in collegiate service and is presently working as Associate Professor, Head of PG and Research Department of Economics, Dwaraka Das Govinda Das Vaishnav College for Women, College Chennai. Having a graduate degree in Maths, Dr. Prema pursued her further studies in economics and was awarded doctorate in economics with a specialization in health economics. She has the pride of having guided 5 MA projects, 5 MBA projects, 35 MPhil projects so far. Dr. T.S. Prema has produced 3 PhD candidates, 1 in the process of submitting the thesis, and currently 6 candidates are pursuing their PhD works. She has participated and presented research papers in economics at 23 seminars, 44 conferences at national and international levels. She has been editor of conference volumes and also written papers in economics in leading journals of India. Dr. Prema so far has visited more than 7 countries for her academic conferences and literary programs. She has been the recipient of many state, national, and international awards and recognitions from eminent personalities. Next, I would like to share a few words about Dr. Purnima. Dr. Purnima is an ardent and versatile management teacher with over 15 years of experience in teaching and management schools across India. She's played a role of placement coordinator for the School of Management, the DG Vaishnav College. She's actively developed a good industry institute relations with the companies like Sundaram Finance, Axis Bank, HDFC, City Union Bank, Society General Bank, BNP Paribas, Fitch India, and to name a few. She is a subject expert in business analytics, HR analytics, quantitative analytics, techniques for management, operations research, operations management, financial management, investment management, and financial derivatives. She has completed her PhD in social media marketing and developed a course on social media marketing for MBA students. She developed a valuable insight on how companies in financial services, jewelry, mobile phones, and high fashion retail, which can be used in social media for CRM and ultimately create a purchase intention. She trained the students in SPSS and MOS for conducting data analysis for their projects. She has guided more than 70 students for their projects in the area of finance, marketing, and human resource. And next, I would like to share a few words about Dr. Prabha ma'am. She is a head and associate professor of Department of Corporate Secretaryship in DG Vaishnav College, Chennai. She is a member of IQAC and NAC Committee, Steering Committee of Quality Audit, chairperson of Internal Valuation in DG Vaishnav College. She is an active academic expert in DRBC College, Chennai, Kanika Parameswari Arts and Science College for Women. She is also a university nominee and subject expert in the Board of Studies in SDNB Vaishnav College, Chennai. She has published many papers in leading journals and has attended many seminars, workshops, and various FDBs. She has attended many careers advancement courses, refresher courses also. She is also expertise in relating to the research data collection and quality data collection. And our another one more eminent research person, Dr. Rajachitra Manivannan. She has started her career as an academician in the Department of Commerce in Ethiraj College for Women as a lecturer in the year of 1992-1994. She is presently showcasing her academic skills and quest her lifelong learning at Dwaraka Das Govinda Das Vaishnav College as an assistant professor in Department of Corporate Secretaryship in Shift 2. Her overall experience about 15 years in academics. She has initiated Aishwarya Stocks as an agency trading in stocks and shares during the same time. She has started a event management company in the name of Dantas in 1995 and continues the business successfully in event management for corporates. She is an inherent person. She is having an inherent passion of teaching, brought her back to alma mater, and she served the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Ethiraj College for Women in the year of 2000 to 2008. She partnered the Language Development and Training Initiative, SEPCON Ventures, where she has trained school children in English language and communication skills in the year of 2011 to 2014. her career's interest spreads with academics and entrepreneurship, amplifying the application of diversified knowledge based in both the fields. I wholeheartedly welcome you all the resource persons for this wonderful knowledge enrichment program. Thank you once again. And the sessions is yours. Let me invite Dr. MCMA Saravana Prabhu sir to have that session.
Thank you, madam. I'll just put forward a small presentation on screen. Right. I hope it is visible to all of you. Is it visible to all of you? Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So once again, at the outset, I thank the college as well as the institute for giving me another opportunity. I've interacted with the faculty and the students of the college before also. So thank you for yet another opportunity to address you all. So the topic is the topic of the day. So February, usually the last few years, earlier it used to be March. Now it is February, wherein the hot topic of all finance persons and commerce graduates and commerce related aspirants, the hot topic of discussion is the budget. So therefore, and in the budget, I've been given with the topic of discussing the tax proposals. So therefore, thank you for that opportunity. So let me get on with the tax proposals. What are the various tax proposals involved as far as the budget is concerned, both direct as well as indirect tax predominantly GST. So those aspects we will see. And before that, I just wanted to give a broad overview as to how because I'm dealing with tax collections, tax proposals, I also have to discuss about the tax collections. Therefore, let us see the trend of tax collections. What is the state of revenue receipts of the government? So it will help us really understand the context in which we are discussing the proposals. Now, if you can see, this chart summarizes the tax collections of the government for the last 4 years, starting from 1920, 2021, the current year. The budget estimate is revised estimates are 21 and 22 for the current ongoing financial year, and the budget estimates for the next financial year is 2023 is also given there. So therefore, 4 financial years and the next year, 3 financial years and the next year projections are also shown in this particular graph. The various pillars, or you can say skyscrapers that you're able to see here. First one is corporate tax. Second one is income tax, which is personal income tax. Third one is customs. So from third one onwards, it is indirect tax. Third one is customs. Fourth one is excise duty. As all of us know, even excise duty is still present on a few commodities. So excise duty is also being taken. And the last one is GST. So therefore, these are the 5 skyscrapers you're looking at. Now, if you can see, the trend of tax collections, if you can look at it, it has steadily undergone an increase. If you can see, there's a small dip. If you look at the second year as compared to 1920, there's a small dip in 2021, which all of us know is due to the impact of the lockdowns on account of COVID-19. So ignoring that abnormal year, if you can ignore that abnormal year of 2021, 21-22 has, in fact, the revenues have rebounded to levels higher than the pre-COVID levels. It has rebounded. And 2023, in fact, the government has said that it is giving a very conservative estimate. This was, in fact, appreciated by the entire field economists and the finance professionals. They were really appreciating it. The government had given a very conservative number for 2023. Even that conservative number, if you can see, shows a very tremendous amount of increase as far as the tax collections are concerned. Now, let me just give you a few more insights. Therefore, the tax collections have really increased. Now, what has really fueled this particular tax collections? Now, just to give a perspective, the entire tax collections, if you see, as far as 22-23 is concerned, the budgeted tax collection for 2023 is around 27.5 lakh crores. 27.5 lakh crores is the entire kitty of tax collections, combining all these together. 27.5 lakh crores. Just to put things in perspective, if you compare this with 10 years back, the base year, which I can say is 2011-12, if we compare with that base year, it has undergone nearly 200%. That is 3 times the tax collections have increased. I used to, in fact, when I was starting out my, even now remember, 2011-12, I was a very young professional. So at that time I was starting out, I was doing these budget analysis also. we were celebrating a landmark where the revenues touched 10 lakh crores. But believe it or not, 10 years, the revenue has in fact, I can say, tripled, 3x times it has become. And I am sure that in next 1 or 2 years, we'll be celebrating another landmark when the revenues are really touching 30 lakh crores. In the next few years, we'll be seeing that one. So therefore, the revenue, at least the government will be celebrating. So therefore, 30 lakhs crores is the next landmark we are really looking at. So this is the insight I want to give. Therefore, the revenue collections have been really, really fantastic. More fueled by, if you can see, which has really fueled this from 10 lakh crores to 30 lakh crores. What has really fueled this really spurt of tax collections, as you all will know, it is the GST. If you can look earlier, in fact, before 2019-20, 2017-18, before that you look, indirect tax, you compare all the indirect tax with the income tax collections, it never used to match. It used to be at a significantly lower level. But as we can see in this chart, 2019 or 19-20, all GST revenue had a big impact. So 2019-20 was the first year, in fact, when GST overtook the income tax collections. If you can see, the last skyscraper, which is GST, has really overtaken the corporate tax, which is the first particular skyscraper which is there. So, and if you can see all the indirect tax put together also, it is almost same or at least greater than all the first two skyscrapers is the direct tax collections. Therefore, we can really say that GST, this is in fact a testimony to the success of GST, that it has really increased the tax collections of the government directly. Not only that, it has also had a fallback effect on the direct tax collections. Because GST, as you know, it's a very robust system. All of you will be definitely reading newspapers every now and then, and you will be seeing a lot of crackdowns are happening, fake invoicing, so on, bill trading, all these bogus businesses are being cracked down really hard because of the power of the GST network, GST, and all of you would have heard of that. So because of that, not only has the indirect tax collections increased, but it has also contributed to the increase in the direct tax collections. So that is the impact of the last 10 years. In fact, the last 5 years of GST, you can really see the impact. In fact, 10 years, I said 3x times the revenue has been there. And if you see the major increases in the last 5 years, which is due to exactly the GST effect coming into the play. Therefore, this is just a small insight to tell you that really a testimony to the success of GST law, how it has had a direct and an indirect impact on the revenues of our government, leading it to touch the next crucial landmark of 30 lakh crore of revenue in the coming years. So having seen that insight, therefore, normally we used to say tax proposals I have to discuss means, first I always used to discuss the direct tax proposals. Sir, what is the benefit for me, sir? You please tell me that. You are telling from our country's point of view, that's okay, that's good, our country should do good, that's no doubt about it. But what is there in it for me? So therefore I always used to discuss the income tax proposals first, because every year the tax slabs used to keep on changing, the rate of tax used to keep on changing. So all these used to have undergo a change very regularly. But over the last few years, I really started to analyze GST first and then put the income tax in the back burner. This year also, I think I'll start off with GST first, because there is, all of you would know that there is not much change in the personal income tax proposals. So your income tax slabs or your income tax, personal income tax rates, and even to some extent corporate tax rates, there is not much of change at all. Whatever changes have come in income tax, it is again more of a technical in nature. Therefore, not that much of, I can say, entertaining or very this one for us. So therefore, I'll, with your permission, start off with the GST proposals first. Then we'll move on to the direct tax proposals. Therefore, part one, I have analyzed the state of tax collections. Next one, the next part of my discussion is with respect to GST. Now, as far as GST is concerned, there are again a lot of technical amendments. Now, in GST law, over the past few years, we have been seeing a lot of cases happening, a lot of court battles happening, a lot of things happening. Now, in GST, it's a fairly robust system. We are able to see a lot of transparency, but still there are some flaws which the government noticed. More so with respect to availment of ITC. There have been many instances when GST law was first visualized, whatever tax used to be paid by the supplier, that was normally what is available by the recipient as. Let me just write a few doodles so that give us a good understanding. So what was first visualized was supplier, whatever he pays as tax, whatever he pays as the output tax, we can say that was only available as the for the recipient, it was available as ITC. This is the very nature of GST. Whatever is paid as output tax by supplier can be reduced as input tax credit by the recipient, or we can say it as ITC. When the government first visualized this particular mechanism in GST law, there was a matching concept. That is, whatever the supplier pays, suppose in a particular month he pays 10 lakhs worth of output tax, he will have various recipients. Let's say he has only one recipient for numbers sake, easy analysis purpose. This 10 lakhs only can be availed as ITC by this particular recipient. He cannot set off more. This was the concept. A matching concept was brought in by introducing the mechanisms of GSTR1, because this guy supplier will file something called as GSTR1 and GSTR3B, to which he will disclose all these details of sales and tax paid on that, and he will also pay the tax. So whatever he discloses in GSTR1 as his sales will only become the purchases for the recipient that will be auto-generated by the system as GSTR2A, later filed as GSTR2 by the recipient. Therefore, whatever is the sales for the supplier will only be the purchase for the recipient, is it not? Therefore, supplier, whatever he discloses as sales in the GSTR1 was to be auto-populated as GSTR2A and later filed as GSTR2 by the recipient, based on which he can avail the ITC. Whereas what happens, so this ITC figure only once he files the GSTR2A, or now it is called as 2B. Then once based on this 2A or 2B, he has to file the GSTR2 return. Then based on this, he has to file the GSTR3 return by setting off this particular ITC. So this was the two-way handshake mechanism that was visualized. But due to various reasons, GSTR this 2 and 3 were discontinued because the ASIs felt that every month I'm filing so many returns under GST law, it is a very cumbersome process. Therefore, they discontinued the GSTR 2 and 3 process. Therefore, what happened? The two-way handshake, what is the supply, outward supply of the supplier became the inward supply of the recipient. That inherent handshake or the control which was there in the GST system, that internal control was done away with, or it could not be implemented. So because of this, what happened? Suppose, let's say the recipient is claiming 10 lakh of ITC. There were some instances where the supplier did not pay this 10 lakhs as his output tax. In fact, sometimes he did not pay at all, or sometimes he paid a lower amount, let's say some 1 lakh or something, by changing the numbers. Therefore, this led to a lot of problems. What happened? At the recipient's end, the government was allowing credit for the full amount, 10 lakhs. But from the supplier's point of view, he did not pay the entire 10 lakhs as tax to the government. He paid a lesser amount, or in some cases, he did not even file it. Therefore, non-filers were also there. The 10 lakhs was not even 1 rupee was deposited. Therefore, this led to an internal loss for the government. Internal control was not there. Therefore, it led to a lot of loss for the government. Therefore, this is the entire gamut in which we have to understand the story I have to tell, because this is the central amendment in GST law. Few amendments only are there, then we'll move to income tax. Therefore, to understand these few amendments, all of them are focused on ITC. You can see, I'll just put the presentation across. It is focused on ITC. What is the reason? This story is the reason behind those particular amendments in ITC. Therefore, what the government did now, it said very simply, you can avail this ITC recipient, let's say Mr. Y, you avail the ITC, no problem, 10 lakhs. But we will keep a lot of checks and balances for that. You have to match it. Whatever ITC you are filing in your 3B, now 3 is not there, 3B is there. So whatever ITC you are claiming in your 3B, you have to match it with the 2A or 2B, and it has to also match with the GSTR1 filed by the supplier. So therefore, this matching should be done. Now, how will they do? System will not do, but the officer can scrutinize. The assessee has to have a self-discipline. He has to ensure that whatever ITC is there in his GSTR3B is matching with the GSTR2B, and which is also matching with the GSTR1 filed by the supplier. This chain of matching, whether it is there or not, the assessee himself has to do self-assessment, self-discipline. Self-assessment should be there, and in case the assessee fails to do so, department also has powers to now come and disallow the ITC in the hands of the recipient. So this is central amendment brought in, courtesy section 38, which is newly introduced section in the GST law, and the earlier section 38 has been completely removed. So a new section 38 has been brought in, wherein this mechanism of allowance of ITC in the hands of the recipient, that has really been curtailed. Now, from the assessee's point of view, you think, from the recipient's point of view, you think, this particular thing, a lot of people are raising a huge hue and cry. Sir, ITC is the backbone of GST law. How can you disallow the seamless credit? That is what you promised 5 years back. How can you disallow that? So that is what the recipients are now raising a huge hue and cry about the section 38. But the government is very clear. 95, I can say even 90% of the assessees are good, but 10% of the assessees are really misusing the system, and it is doing away the lot of good work done by the 90% of the assessees. Therefore, to really keep a check on this 10% of assessees and to give a level playing field to everybody, this amendment is surely required. So this is justification given by the government. So having understood this concept, now let's move on. Therefore, now the first real amendment we have to see is the restriction of the ITC in the hands of the recipient, based on whether the supplier has filed his GSTR1 correctly, supplier has filed his GSTR3B correctly, he has paid the tax correctly, and supplier has availed his ITC correctly or not. So all these checks and balances have been introduced courtesy the new section 38. I don't want to discuss the full section, being a very short session. I don't want to discuss the full section, because that itself will take a very long time, but I've just given the gist of it. So this is introduced by way of clause 99 in the finance bill. Now moving to the next one. So as I said, these two amendments are one and the same. Now the GSTR 2 and 3 concept, the two-way handshake, that system has been done away with, and now a self-assessment or a self-control process has been brought in, wherein the assessee himself should do. Earlier, two-way communication process means what was visualized was the GSTN system itself will check it. But now that has been done away with. GSTR 2, 3, all this matching by the GST portal has been done away with, and new section 38 has been introduced, which puts the onus on the assessee. Now assessee should have self-control, self-discipline to ensure that all these conditions are being met before availing the ITC. Therefore, the two-way communication process through the GST, and that has been done away with. Now the self-control or the self-discipline process in section 38 for the assessee, that has been introduced here. Now the next, so this is the first and most crucial amendment. Now this created a lot of, as I said, a lot of people are not happy about this. Therefore, government said, okay, you may feel some pain. Therefore, I'll give you a few relaxations also. Now, what is introduced in new section 41 is that, okay, since this process of self-control or self-discipline, new section 38 I've introduced, I understand that this may cause a little bit of pain for you. Therefore, let me give you some kind of a relaxation. In section 41, newly introduced, the government has said that earlier, the ITC availed by the assessee was only provisional ITC. Provisional ITC means it was not final. It can be disputed any time by the department or later. So section 41 earlier provided for a concept of provisional ITC. Whereas now the government has said that since we are introducing this section 38 as a new section, we understand that you could face some kind of a problem, you could face some kind of a pain. Therefore, we'll give you new section 41, where in new section 41, the ITC, what you are availing, if it satisfies the condition in section 38, then in that case, the ITC is not provisional ITC, rather it is final ITC itself. It is called as self-assessed ITC. That's what I told you. Self-assessed means self-discipline is there with the assessee. He has satisfied all conditions, section 38 are being satisfied. Therefore, it is not provisional ITC anymore. We give it to you as final ITC itself. So it is called as, it is being renamed as the self-assessed ITC, or we can say it is the final ITC. But subject to section 38 conditions being satisfied. Now, one more relaxation government is giving. So it is a mixed bag, we can say, or we can say since this broad change in, or I can say landmark change in ITC is being brought in, since assessee may feel some kind of a pain, therefore one more relaxation is being given to the assessee. What is that? Now I'll give an example. Let's assume one particular purchase invoice is there. Now we are talking from recipient's point of view, always ITC recipient's point of view. So recipient is getting a bill pertaining to financial year 2021. Let's say the bill date is April 2020. Okay, so financial year 2021. Now, can the assessee avail ITC even after 2 years or 3 years on this particular purchase bill? Answer is no. There was a limit. What was the limit? Normally 6 months from the end of the financial year, which means September of 2021. Whenever is a due date for the September 3B return of September 2021, this is the next financial year. Please note, it is not September 2020, September 2021, which is 6 months from the end of the year, end of the financial year. So September 2021, whenever the 3B due date is there, before that he has to avail the ITC on this particular purchase bill pertaining to April 2020. So all purchase bills that you get during a financial year, you cannot take ITC after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, old bill and all, you cannot take the ITC, not possible. So any bill you receive, expense bill, purchase bill you receive in a financial year, you have to take the ITC within 6 months from the end of the year. This was the concept. Now this 6 months has now been increased In fact, they are saying earlier I said September is the September of the next financial year, correct? This is what I said. Whereas now that has been relaxed as November. So they are giving you 2 extra months time. Now you have 8 months from the end of the financial year. You have till 30th of November to claim the ITC in respect of all bills pertaining to the preceding financial year. Therefore, this is again a relaxation given to the assessee, wherein earlier 6 months from the end of the financial year, within that time he can avail the ITC. Now the 6 months time has been increased to 8 months time. So 8 months from the end of the financial year, he can avail ITC pertaining to the preceding financial year. So this is a welcome move. In fact, this 30th September or September of the next financial year was the deadline for various purposes of the Act. It was the deadline for claiming ITC. It was a deadline for making any correction. Suppose I made any mistake in my return, sir. I have made some mistake. Instead of putting the sales number as 10 lakh, I have put it as 1 lakh 10. I missed it. So let me change the return, GST return. Let me correct it, amend it. So correction of return. Third one, issuing credit notes. I have to issue credit notes for various purposes. So issuing credit notes. So therefore, for all these purposes, the time limit was September. Whereas now for all these purposes, now the time limit has been given 2 more months time. Till November, you can do all these claiming the ITC, giving the credit note, making the amendment. All these time limits, which was September, has now been increased to November. So to remember very simply, wherever the Act said time limit September of the next financial year, that September has now been changed to November, 30th November of the next financial year. So 2 months extra time period has been provided for all these purposes. Now I'm just giving the highlights. So as I said, for various purposes, section 16, which is ITC, 34, which is credit note, 37, which is again amendment in the return. So and 52 is TCS, correction in any TCS return. So for all these purposes, 2 more months extra time has been given for doing all these activities. So again, this is a welcome move for the assessee. Now, next one is a question of interest. This has been, in fact, I have been part of many of these case laws. We have filed before the Honorable Madras High Court, and there are all over India, before various high courts, this issue has been hotly debated. Very interesting concept, I will say. Now, suppose in a particular month, the ITC, now we are again talking about ITC. For the recipient, the ITC is, let's say, 10 lakhs, as we have taken in our example. Now, what the assessee has done, due to some mistake, maybe he's a genuine guy, he's not doing some fraudulent activity, he's a genuine guy only. But instead of 10 lakhs, what he has done, he has taken ITC as 11 lakhs. Please note, 10 lakhs is the correct figure. Wrongly, he has taken ITC at 11 lakhs. So 1 lakh extra ITC has taken. So he has taken excess ITC of 1 lakh, excess benefit of 1 lakh he has taken. Now, therefore, what happens? Government will not keep quiet. Now, suppose assessee himself, please note, he has taken 1 lakh extra ITC, but he is not using it. It is remaining in his closing balance. Please understand, 1 lakh extra ITC wrongly I have taken, but I have not utilized for paying any tax. I am just keeping it in my books. It is there. It has not been utilized at all. Therefore, now the question came on, now what happens? Department comes, says, sir, you have wrongly availed this 1 lakh ITC, please reverse it. You can't avail this ITC, something wrong. You should have availed only 10 lakhs. You have availed 11 lakhs, so 1 lakh excess you have availed. Please reverse it. Everybody reversed. Okay, no problem. We'll reverse it. No issues. But the department will not just go like that. So this 1 lakh ITC should be reversed. But department will not just go like that. What they will do, they will also ask you interest. Sir, you have availed this ITC extra 1 lakh now, so please pay the interest. But the assessee, what he will say, sir, why should I will reverse the ITC here, no problem. But why should I pay interest? Because I have not used it at all. I have not used this benefit. It is just there in my books of accounts. I have just been keeping on carrying it forward in my books of accounts. In my GST e-credit ledger, it is just being carried forward. It is not being used at all. So why should I pay interest on this? So that was the question assessee was asking. This led to a lot of litigation, whether ITC wrongly availed, but it is there in the books of accounts. It is there in my GST e-credit ledger. I have not used it. I have not touched it. So should I pay interest on this? This was the huge point of litigation that was going on. Various high courts, this matter was there. In fact, I've been fortunate enough to be part of a few cases which we have filed before the Honorable Madras High Court also for few of our clients. Therefore, what the Madras High Court, Honorable Madras High Court said was that nothing doing. You reverse the ITC 1 lakh, okay, but this guy has not used it. Somehow he has made a small mistake. He has not used this ITC of 1 lakh. He's been just carrying it forward. So what is the revenue loss for the government? Why should the assessee pay interest? Therefore, you just reverse the ITC, it's enough. no need to pay interest like that. The High Court judgment of the Honorable Madras High Court is there, and few more High Courts have also followed the Madras High Court. Therefore, now the law has government accepted. Okay, fine, we'll accept. It's a very fair point. We'll accept also. So one more benefit given to the assessee, wherein if this ITC 1 lakh in our example has not been touched by the assessee, he has not used it at all, then there is no requirement for paying any interest at all. There is no requirement for paying any interest. So therefore, that is the amendment which has come in section 50 subsection 3. Now, not only that one more amendment has also come. Now, I have told one amendment wherein interest need not be paid if the ITC is not touched, it has not been used. But let's assume some cases they have used this ITC 1 lakh also. They have used it for paying the output tax. So I have wrongly availed and I have utilized also. First case, what did I tell? I have not touched this 1 lakh. I have not used it for paying the tax. But as second case, the guy has wrongly availed and he has used it for paying the tax also. So in that case, department charged an interest of 24%, which I felt, I have been talking about this for almost 5 years now. I felt that this 24% is wrong, because even though the act says that 24%, it is not applicable for this situation. I've been telling it for almost 5 years now. So therefore, a lot of people have caught hold of that one. 24% is a very exorbitant interest rate. Nowadays, you imagine, you go to a bank, you put an FD, 5% interest rate is very high. So 5% in one side, 24% in another side. Who will pay that? So therefore, it was considered as a very exorbitant interest, which was, even though not sanctioned in the law, the departmental officers were collecting it. Whereas we have also maintained, because interpreting the law as professionals, we maintain that it is only 18%, not 24%. So that has also been changed. By chance, the RC has used this 1 lakh also. Then in that case, 24% interest is not applicable. That interest also been reduced. Now it has been reduced and kept at 18%, which is the interest rate for all the other purposes of the law also. Therefore, two amendments are here. One, in case ITC you have not utilized, you have not touched, no interest. Second, suppose you have utilized the wrong ITC, then in that case, interest is not 24%, but it has been capped at 18%, like other interest for other purposes of the Act. So these are all various beneficial amendments which have come. Then the last one is, suppose I have this regarding e-cash ledger. E-cash ledger is nothing but tax you are paying it out of your bank and keeping it in your GST portal. In GST portal, just like your bank account in your various banks you are maintaining, you can maintain an account called as an e-cash ledger. So wherein you can just put money from your bank account in that ledger, which is maintained with the government, and you can use it for various tax payments. So what happens is GST is a state-wise registration. Do you agree? Therefore, what happened? There are some cases where RC put some amount in the e-cash ledger in a GST portal ledger. He put some amount in one state, but that state he does not have any liability at all. He is not able to use it. Therefore, what happened? He transferred it. He wants to transfer it to other states where he has some tax liability. Earlier, he could not do it, but now the facility has been given, wherein he can just transfer the balance from one state ledger to another state ledger, where he can use to pay the tax liability of other states also. But it should be the same PAN number. It should not be different PAN number. It should not be a different person. So same person, different branches in different states, he can just transfer the cash balance to the other states. So these are all some good RC-friendly amendments, we can say. I'm just giving the highlights for the want of time, the various important amendments I'm discussing. Now moving on. So apart from that, there are a few cancellation provisions that have been brought in. Earlier also it was there, but these provisions are now being rationalized. So cancellation of registration in case of errant taxpayers, composition taxpayers who have not filed returns, they have to file it every financial year. They have not filed it beyond the 3 months, then their registration is liable to be cancelled. Whereas in case of normal taxpayers, they have to file a monthly or a quarterly return. Therefore, if they are not filed for such continuous tax periods as may be prescribed, then the registration can also be cancelled. Earlier also this provision was there, but now this provision has been streamlined a little bit. Let me not go too much into the technicalities. Again, this gives more power to the government to crack down on errant taxpayers. Now, coming to the next one, income tax amendments. So I've taken some 10-15 minutes time for GST amendments. Same amount of time I'll also take for income tax. As far as income tax amendments are concerned, so as I said, the important thing that we would watch out for is what is the change in slab rates or what is the change in tax rates. So I always used to do income tax amendments earlier first, but the last few years we have not seen much of changes in slab rates. So to put it very simply, this year also As far as so my direct tax students used to ask me, sir, what is the change in major change in income tax as far as my clients? I have to deal with a lot of ITR cases. So what is the major change? They used to ask me. I said, don't worry, even if you didn't see the budget, no problem. As far as direct tax is concerned, need not worry. Same thing what you followed for last year, you can follow for the next year also as far as filing the IT returns are concerned. So there is no change in deductions, not much of change in deductions. There is only one deduction which has changed, 80DD, that we'll see. So no change in deductions, no change in slab rates, no change in tax rates. And not much of change in interest. Somebody will be paying interest for their housing loans. That limit we were expecting it to change. That has also not changed. So virtually it is the same provision. As far as salary tax presents are, we are all part of the college. So what is the change in ITR that will be there for the next year? Not much of change. So whatever is applicable for the last year, you can expect the same amount of tax for the current year also. So now not much of change as far as salaried class is concerned. But there are a few changes, especially with regard to COVID. Because of this COVID, it has really changed our lives last 2 years. I cannot believe that it is going to be 2 years now. So I know how much impact everybody, both sides of the spectrum, be it students or teachers. I'm able to see the impact, businessmen, so much impact is there. So this COVID, a lot of people from the government side has come to help, okay? But a lot of people from non-government side, that is, I used to say, or there used to be a Tamil proverb which says, really the tough times is where you really know your friends and you really know your enemies. So therefore, this COVID time has really shown us our friends who is coming forward to help us. And so for such receipts during the COVID time, from non-governmental sources, they are given exemptions. Let me start off with that. So as far as COVID receipts are concerned, many cases we are seeing the employers are helping. So section 17 has been proposed to be amended, wherein any sum paid by employer in respect of any expenditure, we can look at the first point, any sum paid by the employer to the employee in respect of any expenditure relating to COVID medical treatment, that shall not be treated as perquisite. Shall not be treated as perquisite means what? There is no tax on that one under the income under that salary. So therefore, any income, any receipt with respect to COVID treatment received from employer, that is being exempt. Point number one. Point number two, sir, I don't receive it from my employer. Employer was not magnanimous enough. But some of my friends, some of my well-wishers have given some amount due to my family being badly affected by COVID. What about that one? Will that be treated as income in the hands of the person? So for that, they have given one more relaxation wherein this is considered as a gift. If it is received from employer, it is considered as part of salary. Whereas if it is received from any third party, it is considered as a gift if it exceeds 50,000 rupees. That is the income tax provision. But now they have given relaxation if such amount received from any other person other than the employer with respect to any medical treatment for COVID for any member of the family, then in that case, it shall not be treated as income of the person. So this is for amount received from any other person other than the employer. But I think here there is a cap. You cannot receive more than 10 lakhs. That is what the explanatory memorandum also says. They are planning to put a cap of 10 lakhs because normally any COVID treatment will not take more than that particular amount. Therefore, these are COVID receipts. Yeah, so pardon, the 10 lakhs is for in case the person deceased. Okay, pardon me for that. As far as treatment is concerned, I don't think any cap is there. So, but a cap has been put in case any sum of money received by member of the family of a deceased person on account of COVID, and such aggregate sum does not exceed 10 lakhs. So in that case, the person who receives the survivor, in that case, that amount will be exempted for the survivor. But here a cap of 10 lakhs has been prescribed. So all these three receipts are COVID receipts. To summarize, first one received from employer, second one amount received from third person. These two are for treatment. Whereas third one is this particular thing is amount received from any person in case of a person has been deceased. This is not for treatment. Person has been deceased, so he has is a deceased person. So his survivors are receiving that amount. So subject to amount of 10 lakhs, cap of 10 lakhs, the exemption has been given. So all these, the effective period from when the exemption is there, I've given that in this one. For example, this particular exemption is there, applicable from assessment year 2021, which means financial year 1920 onwards, which is typically March 2020 only COVID came in as the first one into India, correct? First reported a case. Therefore, from 1920 financial year onwards itself, this provision will come into play. Now, as far as, again, yeah, same thing. Now, as far as other things are concerned, for government employees, for those of your friends or family who are government employees, there's a beautiful scheme. In fact, this scheme is also applicable for private employed persons also. So those who are not already invested in this particular scheme, I in fact urge all my clients to go and look at this particular scheme. There's a scheme called as National Pension Scheme, NPS. All of us know, new pension system, National Pension Scheme, whatever you may call it. So this NPS scheme is a very good scheme which has been brought into the benefit of all the employed persons for post their retirement purposes. And in fact, for non-government persons, the exemption cap is 50,000 rupees, whereas for government persons, earlier it was cap was kept at 10% of their salary. For central government employees, the contribution was increased to 14% of their salary. That is, if they contribute up to 14% of their salary, they can reduce it from their taxable income. So earlier it was 10%. For central government employees, it was increased to 14%. Then the state government employees also went and asked for why a differential treatment for us. We should also be given this benefit. Therefore, even for state government employees, they can contribute up to 14% of their salary to the NPS, in which case they can enjoy the exemption. The employer contribution also, to the extent of this particular thing, will also enjoy the exemption. So this is as far as a national pension scheme is concerned. Whereas for the private sector, I told you the limit is 50,000. There is no percentage of salary. It is a 50,000 flat amount cap, at least for deduction. You can contribute how much ever you want, but the cap for deduction is 50,000 rupees for the employee's contribution. So that cap, we were expecting some kind of relaxation there also, but unfortunately the cap of 50,000 under 80 CCD has not been increased for private person. It remains at 50,000 only. Now coming to the next deduction. So now we are coming to deductions. 80 CCD, NPS deduction we have seen. Next one is 80 double D. 80 double D is for persons with disability. So a person for disability, the person should be a dependent person. So parent or somebody is contributing for son or daughter who's a disabled person, permanently disabled person. He may have various expenditure for that person. Not only various expenditure is there for that person, sometimes he may put a LIC or whatever insurance premium he may put to take care of various needs of that particular person, because the parent can support that person only for such amount of time. Therefore, for 80 double D person, for various contribution to LIC, for any insurance related payments that is being made for various purposes, or in case of any expenditure incurred on that particular disabled dependent which is there. So a fixed deduction of 50,000 was given for such a person who's making these contributions. Please understand the deduction is a fixed deduction, 50,000, irrespective of the actual expenditure you may incur. You may incur 10 lakh expenditure, you may incur some years no expenditure at all, doesn't matter. Or you may incur a very less amount of expenditure, doesn't matter at all. You are given a very fixed deduction of 50,000 rupees under 80 D. But there were a few cases pending before the various high courts which said that, and the provision also said that suppose the person who is dependent on you, whose disabled person predeceases you, that is, he expires before you, then that whatever policy you have taken in his name, you will get that maturity proceeds. So that was deemed as income. So various high courts felt that this is not very fair, because I already suffered due to that particular person being disabled. So a lot of expenditure has been incurred by me. Therefore, why do you treat this? He's already expired also. So why do you treat this maturity amount as a income in my hands? It's not a very fair provision. So a lot of high courts made this observation. So therefore, the amendment has been brought in case the person predeceases that one. So in that case, that is what is given there. That shall not be treated as income. So apart from that, so this is one amendment which has been brought in. Suppose the person predeceases, then in that case, the amount shall not be treated as income in the hands of the person who's incurring that particular expenditure. Not only that one, imagine the person of the imagine the situation of the parent. If suppose he reaches 60 years, he retires, then incurring this expenditure or paying this premium will be a very painful aspect for him, correct? So therefore, what happens typically is the parent discontinues the premium that he's paying, or he will not be able to incur the expenditure once he crosses 60 years of age. Therefore, what the section felt to us, okay, no problem, we'll give you one more benefit. Suppose you cross 60 years of age and still you discontinue the premium, or you don't incur this expenditure, doesn't matter, still will give you 50,000 of deduction. Therefore, 80DD, these changes have been brought in, wherein the income maturity process received, it is not treated as income. And suppose you reach the age of 60 years and you stop the expenditure or you stop the premium payment, doesn't matter, still you can claim the deduction of 50,000 per annum under 80DD. So these are all a few welcome changes to the assessee friendly changes, we can say. Now I will finish this with this one last change. Others are also there. I will share my presentation also in case somebody is interested, you can go through. But I will stop with this particular, with the time available given to me. I will stop with this very important amendment. I'll also take some 5 minutes time to explain this because a very deep concept, emerging concept, which I think all of us should know. Virtual digital asset. Now, imagine what is a virtual digital asset, sir? There's a big definition now which has been introduced in the Act. Very big definition has been introduced, very comprehensive definition has been introduced in the Income Tax Act. But I'll just tell a small story, or I'll tell a small situation based on which you can really understand this emerging technology. All of us have heard of bitcoins, all of us have heard of cryptocurrency, Luna, so many currencies, Terraform, so on and so forth, Terra, Luna, Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So many currencies, cryptocurrencies you would have heard. I'm not sure whether you have really gone into this particular cryptocurrency or analyzed this, but at least as far as taxation is concerned, let me give a few insights. Now, this cryptocurrency, the first thing that we have to really see, is it an Indian currency or a foreign currency? Because then the tax treatment will change. If it is an Indian currency or foreign currency, suppose I give you some 50,000 rupees, you give me some bitcoins. It is considered as a pure exchange of money. There is no income tax on this. There is no GST on this because it is a pure exchange of money. So therefore, now comes the question whether this Bitcoin is really currency, because only if it is currency, it is out of ambit of income tax, out of ambit of GST. So is it currency? That's the first question. Now, if it is currency, it has to be one of two things. Either it has to be Indian currency, which is recognized by RBI, or it has to be a foreign currency. What is foreign currency? It is not recognized by RBI, but it is recognized by some other foreign sovereign country. So it should be either Indian currency or foreign currency. Now, this question was asked in a lot of forum. In fact, there's a landmark Supreme Court judgment also on this matter, which said that this particular cryptocurrency is neither Indian currency nor is it foreign currency. It is neither Indian currency nor is it foreign currency. Therefore, is it currency? First of all, is a question mark. Answer is no, because it neither becomes Indian currency nor it becomes foreign currency. Therefore, it is not currency. Now comes the next question. Sir, if it is not currency, then does it become goods or service? I'm not going into the aspect of whether it is security. Whether it is a security or not, like a share or something, at least as far as Indian law, I can say it is not a security as on date because it cannot be traded over the counter under these SEBI guidelines or SEBI regulations. It is not recognized as or under the SCRA, Securities Contract Regulation Act, this is not considered as a security. So leave aside the fact that it is a security, it will not come under the definition of security also. Therefore, next question comes, is it a goods or is it a service? If you see goods, in the case of Tata Consultancy Services Union of India, and in the case of Andhra Pradesh State Transport Corporation of Union of India, the Honorable Supreme Court has laid down a few criteria as to what is goods. I'll just tell, for the want of time, I'll just broadly tell without going too much into each of the points. Goods should satisfy 4 criteria. 1, it should be movable. Second, it should be transferable from person to person. Third, it must be marketable, that is, it must have a market. And the fourth one, it must have a utility. I'll repeat. First one, it must be movable, transferable, marketable, and it must have utility. So these 4 criteria are satisfied, then it becomes goods. Why this question was asked in the case of Infosys or Union of India or TCS was Union of India, whether software is goods or not was a question asked. The Honorable Supreme Court in TCS or Union of India said, yes, software is a goods. Even though it's intangible, it is still goods only because it satisfies all the 4 criteria. In Andhra Pradesh State Electric Corporation, Supreme Court said electricity is also goods only because it satisfies all the 4 criteria. Therefore, through various Supreme Court cases, what is goods has been laid down. Therefore, the next question comes, is this cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is it goods or not? If you see, it satisfies major of the criteria, but it does not satisfy one criteria. What is that? it does not have any utility. It does not have any value by itself. It has only one utility. What is that? That of a currency. It can be used as a medium of exchange. That is not considered as a utility because that is a function of currency. Therefore, it does not have any use by itself other than that used as a medium of exchange. Therefore, the fourth criteria of it having any utility is not being satisfied. Therefore, it cannot be considered as goods. Therefore, comes the next question: what is it, sir? At least as far as GST law is concerned, now the consensus is evolving that it becomes service. At least as far as GST law is concerned, everybody is now coming to a consensus that even though there is no provision in the GST Act, everybody is coming to a consensus that it becomes services as far as GST law is concerned. So therefore, now we are wondering, sir, what to do with income tax, sir? Should we treat as same service only? Unfortunately or fortunately, for income tax, they have treated these cryptocurrencies on par with securities. So similar to what your shares or your mutual funds or whatever securities are there, they have treated these cryptocurrencies on par with securities, which means all of us know on transfer of securities, capital gains will arise, correct? So same way here also in case of transfer of such virtual digital assets, cryptocurrencies, etc. Whatever capital gain means what? You're having some sale proceeds. Let's say you're selling some cryptocurrency for 10 lakhs. You have purchased it for, let's say, some 7 lakhs. So 3 lakhs will be taxed. The gain that is there, that will alone be taxed under the Income Tax Act, which is on par with securities. The capital gain alone, the gain alone will be taxed. No other deduction can be claimed. Only you can set off that purchase cost. In our example, 7 lakhs, that alone can be set off. No other expenses are allowed. No other expenses you can claim. Only the cost of acquisition is allowed. Not only that, the gain will be taxed at 30%. So in our case, 3 lakh gain is there, right? So that 3 lakh gain will be taxed at 30% is the maximum rate. Therefore, 30% rate has been put. Not only that, suppose, sir, gain, it is okay. What if I incur a loss, sir? Now, a lot of people have burned their hands in cryptocurrencies, those have invested. Because one fine day, Bitcoin just crashed when the Supreme Court judgment, before that one, the government was considering banning this cryptocurrency. It just crashed like anything on one particular day. So Black Friday, it crashed. Therefore, what happened? Purchase price is 7 lakhs, but I was able to sell it for a mere 50,000 rupees. 6 lakhs 50,000 loss is there for me. Can I set it off against my salary income? Can I set it off against my other capital gain? Or can I set it off against my business income? Answer is no. Suppose you incur a loss, you cannot set it off against any other source of income. Nor can you set off any other loss against this income. Suppose in our example, first example, we had a gain of 3 lakhs. But I have a business loss of 2 lakhs, sir. Can I set it off against this capital gain on cryptocurrency? That is also not possible. So cryptocurrency loss cannot be set off against any other head of income. Any other loss under any other source, that also cannot be set off against capital gain on cryptocurrencies. All these are not possible. And on this gain, in our case, 3 lakhs in our first example, against that there is no Chapter 6A deduction, ATC, ATD, none of these deductions you can claim. So therefore, whatever gain is there, straight you pay 30%, nothing else to be done. So section 115 BBH has been introduced to give a scheme for taxation of these cryptocurrencies. One more thing, they have also brought in corresponding 194O, pardon, no, 194, one second, I'm right, 194S. So 194S has been brought in, 194 is TCS, 194S has been brought in, wherein any sale of cryptocurrency is there, the person who's remitting the sale proceeds is typically the buyer. The buyer, when he is remitting the sale proceeds to in our case, 10 lakhs, he is remitting to me. I have sold that cryptocurrency for 10 lakhs. Some person will buy it and he will pay me 10 lakhs. So at that time on that 10 lakhs, he also has to deduct taxes. So he has to make TDS. TDS at 1% has also been provided. So in our case, will come to 10,000 rupees he has to deduct before remitting the sale proceeds to me, and he'll remit only 9,90,000 to me in this particular case. So TDS has also been brought in at a nominal rate of 1%, more to track this particular cryptocurrency transaction, because once TDS has been deducted, it will come in my 26 AS. He has to file TDS return and it will be tracked everywhere in my ASTS, everywhere it will come. So with this, the scheme of taxation for digital assets, that was also, I've discussed it. Apart from this, many other income tax amendments are there, but they're all very technical in nature. So therefore, not very populous. So I have to go very technically. It is there in my presentation. You can also just go through it. So if any other things are there, I'll take up, or else Madam, over to you.
Actually, sir, we are very fortunate to learn about the virtual digital assets, and it's a new for us. Today we have learned about this, and
So
let
I
me.
kept the best for the last.
Sure. Of course, sir, of course, it's a nice session, sir. Next session, shall I call forward?
Please go.
So, okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
The way forward for the healthcare and allied sectors and union budget. I welcome now Dr. T.S. Prema to take over the session.
Yes. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes,
Or
ma'am, you are
able to
audible,
hear
ma'am.
me?
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sarwan, sir, could you change that? Okay, thank you, sir.
Dr. Soumya,
Yes, ma'am,
once I
I'm
finish
just
my
sharing the
introduction,
screen, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I'm just sharing the screen.
yeah, can you share it a little later?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Initially, I just want to have a briefing about what I'm going to talk.
Okay, ma'am, you just start briefing, ma'am. I'll just share the
Yeah,
screen.
yes. A very good morning to one and all present for this online platform budget discussion. And at the outset, I would like to appreciate the efforts of Srimat Andavan College, Arts and Science at Trichy for having arranged this program for budget discussion for the students. I appreciate the efforts taken by the principal and her team, and especially Dr. Soumya at their end, and CMA Mr. Rakesh from our side, who have been constantly in touch with us for having made all the arrangements. And my pranams to all of you and the co-participants in this budget discussion. My best wishes to all of them. And Mr. Saravana Kumar as Saravana Prabhu has given all the glimpses about everything in the budget. I doubt very much whether even the finance minister would have given such a detailed discussion about everything or not, but he gave very important highlights about everything. Thank you so much, sir. But luckily, you have not touched much about health because there is very little for me to say about health sector. It is a little untouched by you. Anyway, thank you so much for having given
சொல்லுப்பா
very
பண்ணிட்டியா 69
elaborate.
thank you pa 69 yes you can exit thank you
Yes. Am I audible? Is it okay,
Yes,
Rakesh?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yes ma'am
Okay.
you're audible
Okay, because basically I have done my PhD in health economics. That's why I wantedly asked Mr. Rakesh to give me this particular section for discussion. Because before going deep into the discussion, and there is nothing much about discussion in health sector, we are going to have, I have divided my entire presentation into 4 or 5 slides. That's all. Glimpses of healthcare and allied sectors, and number 2, allocation to the health sector in the present budget. A comparison has been made with that of the previous estimated budget. And the third one will be about what are the schemes which have been newly introduced. And number 4, where are the areas where we need to concentrate on strengthening. இங்க ரொம்ப உண்மையா சொல்லணும்னாக்கா, I think I can make my presentation in bilingual so that it will be easy for the students to follow. ஏற்கனவே ஒரு பட்ஜெட் டிஸ்கஷன் அப்படின்லாம் சொன்னா பசங்களுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப பெரிய ஒரு மேபி வி ஆர் ஆல் ஓல்ட் இனஃப் டு சிட் ஃபார் ஹவர்ஸ் டுகெதர் ஆன் திஸ். பட் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் யங் ஏஜ் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து அவங்களோட இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்க்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி காமிச்சாதான் ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்காக இருக்கும். பட் பீயிங் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் எக்கனாமிக்ஸ், பீயிங் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஆஃப் காமர்ஸ், and being the students of being a student, he or she ought to know what is a budget and what are the different areas concentrated upon and what are the main focus. All these things ought to be known by every student. It is expected of from every student. See, as per the World Health Organization definition, health is something, it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. ஒரு கம்ப்ளீட்டா ஒரு மென்டல், அவங்களோட பிசிக்கல், மென்டல் அண்ட் சோஷியல் வெல்பீயிங், இதுதான் வந்து ஹெல்த்னே சொல்றோம். வேர்ல்டு ஹெல்த் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய உலக சுகாதார நிறுவனமே ஹெல்த்தை பத்தி இப்படிதான் சொல்லி இருக்கு. பிகாஸ் உங்களுக்குலாம் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும், ஒரு பழைய ப்ராவர்ப் தெரியும், when wealth is lost nothing is lost, when health is lost something is lost, when character is lost everything is lost னு சொல்லுவோம். பட் இப்போ இருக்கிற பேண்டமிக் சுச்சுவேஷன்ல I prefer to say, or I would say that when health is lost everything is lost. Because when health
Madam,
is lost, the
sorry to
individual
interrupt you.
life itself is lost at present.
Prima ma'am,
Yes.
screen கொஞ்சம் enable பண்ணுங்க. ஒரே screenல இருக்கு, first screen.
இல்ல ma'am, she has not yet started streaming with.
Are you moving the screen, ma'am? Definition of health.
No ma'am, actually அவங்க இன்னும் ஸ்டார்ட்
Okay.
பண்ணல ma'am. She is
Okay,
just giving
right.
a just இதுதான் கொடுத்துட்டு இருக்கா.
Okay ma'am, sorry to interrupt.
No பரவாயில்ல ma'am, it's okay ma'am. Ma'am, you are muting. Ma'am, Prema ma'am, you are in mute.
Is it okay now? Okay. As per the World Health Organization, ஒரு complete physical, mental and social well-being இருந்தா மட்டும்தான் we call it as a health, good health. அப்ப complete physical, mental and social அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, நம்ம அந்த காலத்துல சொன்ன மாதிரி திருக்குறள்ல சொல்லியிருக்கு, உருப்பசியும் ஓவாப்பிணியும் செருப்பகையும் சேராது இயல்வது நாடு. ஒரு நாட்டுக்கு என்னென்ன வேணும் அப்படின்னா, பசி இருக்கக்கூடாது, உருப்பசினா, see on one hand that's what we study in economics, the richer are becoming richer and the poorer are becoming poorer. ஒரு பக்கம், see, that's what we call it as monopoly, the concentration of economic wealth is being vested in a very few hands. நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா 20% of the world's top people or India's top people are having 80% of the nation's wealth. 80% on the contrary of the nation's population are having only 20% of the nation's wealth. இது ஒரு பெரிய ஐரணி, ஒரு பெரிய முரண்பாடு. இந்த முரண்பாடு இருக்கிறதுனால தான் we are unable to achieve whatever is targeted. நம்ம 5 ஆண்டு திட்டங்கள் போடுறோம், பிளான் பீரியட்ஸ் இருக்கு. எவ்வளவு பிளான் பீரியட் போனா, we started in the year 1951. Till now, we are unable to achieve. But this budget has promisingly said that there will be definitely a growth of 9.2%. அதை சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. And it is a healthy vision for healthy India. முன்னால் என்ன சொன்னாங்கன்னாக்கா, it is education for all. அடுத்தது health for all by 2020. இப்போ housing for all by 2022. In the 2022-23 budget is giving you only that. I don't know, but it is very easy to criticize. There is always a proverb saying that the uneasy lies in the head that wears the crown. முள் கிரீடம் வச்சிருக்கிறவனுக்கு தான் அந்த கிரீடத்தோட வலி புரியும். அதனால being a common folk, common being, we can easily criticize people. We can easily criticize any effort that is being taken by the government. I want to be a responsible citizen, so I don't want to criticize like that. ஒரு வேகா கிரிட்டிசைஸ் பண்ண விரும்பல. பட் இந்த ஹெல்த்துக்கு நம்ம பிரசன்ட் யூனியன் பட்ஜெட்ல என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கு, இப்ப இருக்கக்கூடிய ஹெல்த் சிஸ்டம் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு பார்த்தா, நான் ஐ ஹவ் ஆல்ரெடி டோல்ட் யூ, ஒரு நாட்டுல பசி இருக்கக்கூடாது, பட்னி இருக்கக்கூடாது, ஓவா பிணி இருக்கக்கூடாது, தீராத நோய் இருக்கக்கூடாது, பகை இருக்கக்கூடாது. இப்படி இருந்தாதான், that is why we always keep strengthening the defense, பகைக்காக, the health sector, healthக்காக, the agricultural sector for providing food. இந்த மாதிரி பேசிக் கம்யூனிட்டிஸ் நம்ம கொடுக்கணுன்றதுக்காக எய்ம் பண்றது தான். And this budget presently, as Mr. Dr. Saravana Prabhu has already pointed out, it is giving you the 4 priorities which has already been discussed at length by him. அதே மாதிரி இதோடைய 7 points of concentration என்ன, இதனுடைய கோல்ஸ் வந்து என்னன்னா, focus on the growth and all inclusive welfare. ரெண்டாவது வந்து promoting the technology enabled development. மூணாவது virtuous cycle starting from the private investment crowded in by the public capital investment. இந்த மாதிரி போயிட்டு இருக்கு. But now I think Dr. Soumya, you can start sharing the screen. I have given in my first slide about the glimpses for healthcare and allied sectors. What are the excerpts given by the Honorable Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman? She has given an emphasis on the basic healthcare, the strengthening of health infrastructure, speedy implementation of vaccination program, and the nationwide resilient response to the current wave of the pandemic, as we all know. அதாவது ஹெல்த் கேர்ல ஒரு பெரிய எம்பசிஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கு பிகாஸ் we all know from 2019 November, though it has started from Wuhan, China, நம்மளுக்கு 2020 மார்ச்ல இருந்து this pandemic has been chasing us. Normally we have to be very healthy and we have to be chasing the unhealthy practices outside. But now for the past 2 years, these unhealthy pandemic has been chasing the human mankind of the entire world. I cannot say it is only for the nation. It's for the entire world. It's a threat. It's really threatening. And ரெண்டாவது சொன்னோம்னாக்கா Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, as it is very aptly pointed out by the Finance Minister, it is the National Tele-Mental Health Program and National Digital Health Ecosystem to be rolled out. And an open platform for the national health digital ecosystem will be rolled out. It will consist of digital registries. Digital registries அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ஹெல்த் ப்ரொவைடர்ஸோட டாக்கெட், அவங்களுடைய ஒரு டிக்ஷனரி ஆர் ஒரு ஹேண்ட்புக் மாதிரி சொல்லலாம். லைக் what I understand and what I presume from the the finance minister's statement is, அவங்க என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்கனாக்கா, லைக் இப்போ வந்து முன்னெல்லாம் வந்து நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு கார் இல்லை ஒரு 2-wheeler ஆர் wherever we are traveling outside the country or outside our border, நம்ம போகும்பொழுது if it stops on the way, if some trouble happens to our vehicle on the way, we can have one booklet. நம்மளுக்கு வந்து யூசர்ஸ் மேனுவல் கூடவே அந்த புக்லெட் கொடுத்துருவாங்க. அந்த புக்லெட்ல வந்து டோல் ஃப்ரீ நம்பர் இருக்கும். நார்மலி we used to call people who are in and around immediate assistance-காக. But now எப்போ வந்து இந்த ஆன் ரோட் சர்வீசஸ் have been improved, என்ன மாதிரி இம்ப்ரூவ்மெண்ட் வந்ததுனாக்கா, அதை வச்சு நீங்க அந்த மேனுவலை வச்சு அண்ட் த ஹேண்ட்புக் ஆர் த புக்லெட் which is served to every purchaser of the car or any vehicle, they can access to the service any point of time from wherever they are. அவங்க எங்க இருந்து வேணா அதை ஆக்சஸ் பண்ண முடியும். immediately within half an hour's time they will be given a helping hand. அதே மாதிரி இப்போ இந்த ஆயுஷ்மான் பாரத் டிஜிட்டல் மிஷன்ல என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்கனாக்கா, it will consist of digital registries of the service providers. Health providers and healthcare delivery system has been extended and it is at the disposal of every human being nationwide. It is not only for one particular section of the community. It is you and I, or even a common man, even a person in the remote area where even nothing can be accessible by them. This can be accessed. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஹெல்த் கேர் ஃபெசிலிட்டி இருக்கு. அண்ட் யூனிக் ஹெல்த் ஐடென்டிட்டி கொடுக்குறாங்க. அண்ட் திஸ் ஃப்ரேம்வொர்க் இஸ் பீயிங் எக்ஸ்டெண்டட். அண்ட் தேர்ட் ஒன் இஸ் நேஷனல் டெலிமென்டல் ஹெல்த் ப்ரோக்ராம். இப்போ எல்லாரும் நம்மளாம் மென்டலாக சுற்றுறதுக்கு முன்னால இந்த டெலிமென்டல் ப்ரோக்ராம் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியம். பிகாஸ் இந்த பேண்டமிக் கொடுத்த ஒரு பேனிக்கை விட, இந்த பேண்டமிக்னால வந்த ஹெல்த் அசார்ட்ஸை விட, இந்த பேண்டமிக் நம்மளுடைய மனசுலையும் நம்மளுடைய மைண்ட்ஸ்லையும் கிரியேட் பண்ண பேனிக் alone has taken away many lives. That's what I personally feel. Many of my friends, many of my family relatives, even 10 days back, one of my relatives passed away due to this pandemic. இந்த பேனிக் கொடுக்குற இது அதுல கோமார்பிடிட்டிஸ்ன்றாங்க. those who have got sugar, those who have got BP, அவங்களுக்குலாம் ரொம்ப நிறைய. அப்படி பார்த்தா எனக்கும் இருக்கு. உடனே எல்லாரும் நினைக்காதீங்க இந்த அம்மா ஏன் இவ்வளவு தைரியமா பேசுறாங்கன்னு. See, always be courageous. What is to happen will happen. Nobody can prevent from happening. ஆனா நம்மளோட ஹெல்த் நம்ம கையில இருக்கு. திருமூலர் திருமந்திரத்துல சொல்வார், நிறைய பேர் சொல்லுவாங்க வாழ்க்கையில என்னமோ பெரிய விரக்தி அடைஞ்ச மாதிரி, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னு கேட்டா, ஏதோ இருக்கேன், உன் புண்ணியத்துல இருக்கேன் அப்படின்வாங்க. நம்ம பண்ற புண்ணியமே கம்மி, இதுல அடுத்தவனுக்கு நம்ம எங்க புண்ணியத்தை கொடுக்கறது? ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லாம ட்ரை டு சே போல்ட்லி தட் பை காட்ஸ் கிரேஸ் ஐ எம் வெரி ஹெல்த்தி, ஐ எம் வெரி பீஸ்ஃபுல். அப்படி சொல்லி பாருங்க, டெஃபினெட்லி யூ வில் பி ஹெல்த்தி. தட்ஸ் மை பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் ஐ ஹவ் ஃபேஸ் so far. என்ன சொல்றார் திருமூலர்னாக்கா, see people usually say that என்ன இப்படி ட்ரெஸ் பண்ணிக்கிற, இப்படி பார்த்து பார்த்து சாப்பிட்றா, இப்படி பார்த்து பார்த்து வச்சுக்கிறா, பார்த்து பார்த்து வச்சுக்கோங்க, அத்தனைக்கும் ஆசைப்படுங்கிறார் ஜக்கி வாசுதேவ். நிறைய பேருக்கு அவருடைய கொள்கையில எல்லாம் கான்ட்ரவர்சிஸ் இருக்கு. ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு கோ இன்டு தட், பட் ஐ டேக் ஒன்லி குட் திங்ஸ் செட் பை ஆர் அட்டர்ட் பை மெனி பீப்புள். திருமூலர் திருமந்திரத்தை சொல்றாரு, இந்த உடம்பு இருக்கு இல்லையா, இந்த உடம்புக்குள்ளதான் உயிர்ன்றது ஒண்ணு இருக்கு. இந்த உயிர் உடம்பை விட்டு போயிடுச்சுனாக்கா இட் பிகம்ஸ் ஒன்லி அ பாடி. அதனால்தான் அது வரலும் பேரிட்டு கூப்பிடுறவங்க எல்லாம் அதுக்கப்புறம் எப்ப எடுக்க போறீங்கன்றாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி இல்லை. இததான் சொல்றாரு திருமூலர், உடம்பால் அழியின் உயிரால் அழிவர். உடம்பு போச்சுன்னா உயிர் போயிடும். உடம்பை வளர்க்கும் உபாயம் அறிந்தே உடம்பை வளர்த்தேன் உயிர் வளர்த்தேனே. இந்த உடம்பை நீங்க எதுக்கு வளர்க்கணும்னாக்கா இந்த உயிரை நீங்க பாதுகாத்து வச்சுக்கணும். இட் இஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். இட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஐ எம் டாக்கிங், இதுல ஏஜ் ஃப்ரீயா நான் பேசுறேன், ஜெண்டர் ஃப்ரீயா பேசுறேன். எல்லாருக்குமே இட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ரைட் ஃப்ரம் தி சைல்ட் விச் இஸ் born டுடே and right from till the age of 90 or 100 or whatever age is fixed for all of us. நம்ம ஒரு சினிமா படத்துல கூட சொல்லுவாங்க, தலை விழுகிற வரைக்கும் வாழணும்ல தம்பின்னு. அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம தலை நம்முடைய உடல் மண்ணுக்குள் போவதற்கு வரைக்கும் இந்த மண்ணுல தான் நம்ம வாழ்க்கை இருக்கு. So I plead to all of you that you all concentrate on your health. இதுக்கு கவர்மெண்ட் எதுவும் பண்ணாது. கவர்மெண்ட் will give all the priorities, government will give the schemes. இப்ப யூனியன் பட்ஜெட்ல கூட இப்ப நான் சொன்ன ஸ்கீம்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஹெல்த் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றாங்க, ஆயுஷ்மான் பாரத் டிஜிட்டல் மிஷன் இருக்கு, and they are going to open 23 telemental health centers open பண்றாங்க in association with the in the NIMHANS National Institute for Mental Health and Neurosciences. அதோட சேர்ந்து 23 டெலிமெண்டல் ஹெல்த் சென்டர்ஸ் ஆரம்பிக்கிறாங்க. இந்த எல்லாமே பண்ணலாம். யூனியன் பட்ஜெட்ல crores கணக்குல கோடி கணக்குல அலோகேட் பண்ணலாம். பட் who is to take care of their health? இந்த 139 கோடி தாண்டின இந்த நிலையில the single government cannot go to every doorstep and find out whether you are healthy, whether you are doing good on a day-to-day basis. It is absolutely not possible. So try to focus on your health. This is my first slide. Whatever the union minister has given, what are the main points that they have focused upon? Because right from childhood until the age of our death, நம்ம தாலாட்டு முதல் நம்முடைய தண்ணியில விட்டு நம்மளை நீராட்டுற வரைக்கும் நிச்சயமாக நம்முடைய ஹெல்த்ங்கிறது ரொம்ப முக்கியம். அதை தான் இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லைட்ல சொல்லியிருக்கு. We will go to the next slide. My next slide talks about the allocation to health schemes of the government. நேஷனல் ஹெல்த் மிஷன் ஒன்று இருக்கு, அண்ட் அதே மாதிரி பிரதான் மந்திரி ஸ்வஸ்திய சுரக்ஷா யோஜனா. இது ரெண்டுத்துலையுமே நான் 2 பிக்சர் கொடுத்துருக்கேன் உங்களுக்கு. அங்கே அதில் பார்த்தா REன்னு ஒன்று போட்டிருக்கும், தட் இஸ் ரிவைஸ்ட் எஸ்டிமேட். BE இஸ் தி பட்ஜெட்டட் எஸ்டிமேட். இன் நேஷனல் ஹெல்த் மிஷன் which there are 2 things. In 21-22, what was the revised estimate in crores? It is given. And in 22-23, what is the budgeted estimate? National Health Mission la kuduthirukkiradhu enna 34,947 crores irundada. Now it has been revised to 37,800 crores, which is nothing but 2,853 crores more of what was before. அந்த நேஷனல் ஹெல்த் மிஷன்ல அது இருக்கு. ரெண்டாவது பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா இந்த பிரதான் மந்திரி ஸ்வஸ்திய சுரக்ஷா யோஜனா, அதுல இன் crores பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா in the revised estimate 21-22 it was 7,400 crores, but now at present it is 10,000 crores, which is hardly 2,600 crores. In the 2,600 crores இதுக்கு முன்னால சொன்ன 2,853 crores it is for the entire nation, for all the states. It's not only for one state, or it is not only for one union territory. It is for everybody. இதுல இந்த allocation may look very very small because hardly ஒரு 60 crores ஒரு இடத்துக்கும் போய் சேரும். ஒரு ஸ்டேட் ஒரு யூனியன் டெரிட்டரி போனோம்னாக்க இந்த பட்ஜெட் அலோகேஷன்ல இருந்து that's what going to go. Okay, and what's the new thing which has been given in the budget? That is given in my third slide. மூணாவது ஸ்லைடு என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா, what are the new things, what were there earlier? நம்மளுக்கு வந்து see, being a health economist, I have focused on primary health centers in the rural areas especially, which have been concentrating on the welfare schemes and health schemes of the rural population. அது வந்து primary health centers will cater to the health needs of the public in the rural areas. And நீங்க urban areas பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா all the government hospitals will cater to the needs of the general public through the healthcare delivery system. The healthcare providers irukanga, some of the NGOs are there, many government organizations are there, and recently also the government has said that they are going to increase the number of recruitment in the medical and the paramedical personnel, which is very, very important. உங்களுக்கு paramedical personnel system எங்க ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருக்கோ, definitely healthcare system will be very, very strong. It will be very, very strong. இப்ப நியூவா என்ன கொடுத்திருக்கு பட்ஜெட்லன்னு பார்த்தா, kindly move on to the third slide. The new things which are discussed in our current budget are 23 tele-mental health centers would be launched with the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS. In the 23 tele-mental health system oda centers oda main role enna, in order to not only strengthen the budget allocation, not only strengthen the medical healthcare delivery system, but also to provide a platform where the mental well-being of the population is being taken care of. As I have told you already in my introduction about WHO's definition, it's not only the physical, mental and social well-being and absence of disease and infirmity மட்டும் கிடையாது. நம்மளுக்கு sound body and sound mind னு சொல்லுவோம். That alone can help any individual to grow stronger personally as well as to contribute for the society. So this way it is very, very essential, and hence this scheme is giving you 23 telemental health centers. And number 2, National Telemental Health Program will be launched. அது எதுக்காகன்னு கேட்டா, the Indian Institutes of Technology, IIT Bangalore, will provide the technical support for this mental health programs to come out successfully. அதுக்காக ஆல்ரெடி நம்மளுடைய டெக்னாலஜிக்கல் சவுண்ட்னஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா, இந்தியாவோட சிலிக்கன் வேலி ஆர் இந்தியாவோட ஐடி ஹப் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாலே ஹைதராபாத் அண்ட் கர்நாடகா நம்ம சொல்லிடுவோம். ஸோ அதில் பெங்களூர்லேருந்து இந்த ஐஐடி பெங்களூர் இஸ் கோயிங் டு provide the help for this particular scheme. And third one is the open platform for the national digital health ecosystem, which is going to be rolled out, and it would consist of digital registries, as I told you earlier, wherever you are and whatever you are, and even being in the bottommost corner of India or topmost corner of India, whether it is north, south or east, west, or in 8 directions, wherever you are, you can access to your healthcare needs. அதுக்காக கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு digital registries of healthcare providers. These healthcare providers list will be given to us, with which we can easily access. நம்முடைய healthcare needs, எங்கேயோ போறோம், ஏதோ ஒன்று ஆச்சு, திடீர்னு நடுவில் see 2 or 3 days back, I happened to read out in Hindu, I think on Saturday or Friday, if I remember correct. ஒரு சின்ன குழந்தை, 3 வயசு குழந்தை வீட்டில் விளையாடிட்டு இருக்கு. அவங்க அம்மா தேங்காய் கட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்காங்க. ஒரு தேங்காவை எடுத்து போட்டு பல்லுல கடிச்சு அது முழுங்க முடியாம தொண்டையில சிக்கி அவங்க என்னென்னமோ ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்த்துருக்காங்க. ஃபைனலி the child was taken to Stanley Medical Hospital, and by then the child was declared dead. ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. இதெல்லாம் வந்து இதுக்கு ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. This is not something to do with our illness, but these are all the medical emergencies, I can say. ஒரு மெடிக்கல் எமர்ஜென்சினா ஒரு ஹிக்கப் வரும், ஒரு விக்கல் வரும், திடீர்னு ஒரு ஆக்சிடென்ட் நடக்கலாம், திடீர்னு யாராவது ஒருத்தருக்கு ஏதோ ஒன்று ரோட்ல போயிட்டே இருக்கும் மயக்கம் வருது, அண்ட் இப்போ இருக்கக்கூடிய பேண்டமிக்ல வந்து நம்முடைய பேண்டமிக் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய த்ரெட்ஸ் இருக்கு, மூச்சு விட முடியாம போகுது. மெனி பீப்புள் ஆர் prone to cancerous treatments nowadays. முன்ன காலத்துல அப்படிலாம் இல்லை. என்னுடைய பாட்டி தாத்தா காலத்துல, என்னுடைய அப்பா அம்மா காலத்துலலாம் they were having a very very healthy and a sound life. இன்னைக்கும் கூட 94 இயர்ஸ்ல நேத்து இந்துல பார்த்தேன், 94 வயசுல பெசன் நகர்ல இருந்து ஒரு உமன் கண்டெஸ்டன்ட், ஐ திங்க் ஹர் நேம் இஸ் சம் சீதா லட்சுமி, இப்ப நடக்க போற இந்த நம்முடைய லோக்கல் பாடி எலெக்ஷன்ஸ்க்கு 94 இயர்ஸ்ல ஒரு லேடி கண்டெஸ்ட் பண்றாங்க. அண்ட் ஷி இஸ் வெரி ஹெல்த்தி. ஷி கோஸ் ஃபார் டோர் டு டோர் கேம்பெயின். சி ஹவு ஹெல்த்தி தே ஆர். இப்ப இருக்கக்கூடிய 20 வயசு பையன், 23 வயசு பையன் கார்த்தால எண்ணோன்னு அப்படி சோர்ந்து உட்காந்துக்கிறோம். அப்புறமா மத்தியானம் போறதுக்குள்ளேயே பாடி எனர்ஜி ட்ரெயின் ஆயிடுது. And I am in teaching line for the past 35 years. I happen to see my students coming and sitting with one dull-headed faces. They are so decked up. உங்களுடைய புறத்தோற்றம் முக்கியமே இல்லை. How wealthy you are or how decorated you are, it is absolutely immaterial. நீங்க வந்து how healthy you are, அதை மட்டும் பாருங்க. காலையில சாப்பிட்டோமா, பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட் டோன்ட் ஸ்கிப். ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்காக சொல்றேன், it is not there anywhere in the budget. But this is an opportunity for me to share these things with you. இதெல்லாம் சின்ன வயசுல நாங்களாம் அவாய்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இன்னைக்கு கோமார்பிடிட்டியில அலைஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கோம். இது உங்களுக்கு வரக்கூடாதுனாக்கா டோன்ட் ஸ்கிப் யுவர் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட். ப்ளீஸ் டேக் யுவர் 3 meals a day. Or some people, if you are not able to take 3 at a time, 5 ஸ்பிளிட் பண்ணி எடுத்துக்கோங்க. பட் எனி ஃபார் ஹெவன்ஸ் சேக் டோன்ட் ஸ்கிப் யுவர் பிரேக்ஃபாஸ்ட். இதுக்காக கொடுக்கப்படுற ஸ்கீம்ஸ் எல்லாம் இதுக்காக, அதாவது அங்கன்வாடி சொல்றாங்க, பால்வாடி சொல்றாங்க. நான் கூட சின்ன வயசுல பால்வாடியில நான் படிக்கும் பொழுது அங்க பால் கொடுப்பாங்க. அங்க போய் பால் குடிச்சிட்டு தான் ஸ்கூலுக்கு போவேன். அது தப்பே கிடையாது. ஐ am giving you my own example in the open platform. The government scheme only. Even here the Anganwadi scheme is there. See, 23 telemental health schemes சொன்னேன் நானு. அதோட மட்டும் இல்ல, இங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா தி சக்ஷான் அங்கன்வாடி ஸ்கீம்ல integrated benefits to women and children especially. எந்த ஒரு நாட்டுல பெண்களினுடைய உடல் நலனும் குழந்தைகள் உடல் நலனும் பாதுகாக்கப்படுகிறதோ அந்த தேசம் ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ராங்கா இருக்கும். Please take my words, because women who are capable of taking care of themselves and the children born to them will be able to take care of everybody in the society. அவங்களோட வீட்டையும் பார்த்துப்பாங்க, நாட்டையும் பார்த்துப்பாங்க. அத மாதிரி இதுல வந்து மிஷன் சக்தி, மிஷன் வாத்சல்யா, அப்புறம் சக்ஷான் அங்கன்வாடி அண்ட் போஷன் 2.0, இது எல்லாமே இப்ப வந்திருக்கு. அண்ட் 2 lakh அங்கன்வாடிஸ் ஆர் கோயிங் டு பி அப்கிரேடட். அதையும் பாருங்க. அண்ட் ப்ளீஸ் இன்ஃபார்ம், பீயிங் த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், யூ ஆர் ஆல் சப்போஸ் டு கேட்டர் ஆர் டிசமினேட் திஸ் நாலேஜ் டு பீப்புள் whomever you are coming across. Even your own house maid இருப்பாங்க, வீட்டுல வேலை செய்யறவங்க இருப்பாங்க, நம்ம வெளியில பார்க்கக்கூடிய ஒரு செக்யூரிட்டி, ஒரு ஹவுஸ் கீப்பிங், ஒரு வார்ட் பாய் இருப்பாங்க, ஆர் மீனியல் சர்வெண்ட்ஸ், பணியாளர்கள் இருப்பாங்க, நிறைய பெரிய லெவல்ல இருக்கவங்களும் இருப்பாங்க. டோன்ட் ஹெசிடேட் டு ஷேர் தி நாலேஜ். ஒரு படத்துல செந்தில் சொல்ற மாதிரி நாலேஜ் இஸ் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன். அதாவது இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் இஸ் வெல்த். சாரி, இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் இஸ் வெல்த். இந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் வாட் எவர் யூ ஆர் கேதரிங் ஹியர், ஒரு பேனல் டிஸ்கஷனோ, ஒரு வெபினார் ஆர் செமினார், ஆர் வாட் எவர் யூ ஆர் undergoing or whatever you are coming across, try to learn at least 1 point from each and try to disseminate that knowledge to the people whomever you are coming across. அதுதான் நீ படிக்கிற படிப்புக்கு ஒரு அழகு. So all these things are the new things which are said in the budget. And the last slide, we'll go to the last slide. Where are the areas to be strengthened? இப்ப நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்ன உங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன பண்ணியிருக்கோம்னாக்கா, கவர்மெண்ட் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல்ஸ் இருக்கு, பப்ளிக் ஹெல்த் சென்டர்ஸ் இருக்கு, PHCs அப்படின்னு சொல்லக்கூடியது. அண்ட் நேஷன் வைட் இப்போ இருக்கக்கூடிய பேண்டமிக்ல த கவர்மெண்ட், போத் த சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் அண்ட் தி ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட்ஸ் ஆர் ட்ரைங் தேர் லெவல் பெஸ்ட் டு கிவ் தி வேக்சினேஷன் 2 doses. ப்ளீஸ், பேண்டமிக் வரும். நம்மளுக்கு ஸ்பானிஷ் ஃப்ளூன்னு ஒன்று வந்தது. அந்த ஸ்பானிஷ் ஃப்ளூ வந்த பொழுது எத்தனையோ பேர் இறந்து போனாங்க. இது இன்னைக்கு நேற்றுக்கு வர்றது கிடையாது. அதனால there is no point in blaming any particular government. நான் எந்த கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கும் இதுவா சொல்லல. See, government is a government. யார் வந்தாலுமே all these things are natural calamities will definitely come. நாங்க மால்தூசியன் தியரி ஆஃப் பாப்புலேஷன்ல படிக்கிறோம். மால்தஸ் who is a very, very popular economist, he says that the population can be controlled in two ways. One is by the positive checks, and the other one is by preventive checks. Positive checks is the natural, and preventive checks is man-made, artificial. பாசிட்டிவ் செக்ல தான் என்ன வரும்னாக்கா கொள்ளை நோய் வரும், வார் வரும், சண்டையினால இறந்து போவாங்க. நம்முடைய முதல் 2ஆம் 3ஆம் உலகப் போர் நடந்த போது நிறைய பேர் செத்து போனாங்க. ஹிரோஷிமா நாகசாகி மேல குண்டு போடப்பட்டது, ஸ்பானிஷ் ஃப்ளூ வந்தது. அதே மாதிரி இப்ப நமக்கு வந்திருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த பேண்டமிக் கோவிட், தி கொரோனா வைரஸ், இதெல்லாம் ஃபைட் பண்ணணும்னா we have to definitely have our health very, very strong. Okay, it is not the government alone which has to struggle. It's not a one-way track, it is a two-way. It's a two-way implementation. Always it cannot be one way. Whatever the government is giving, they are the givers, we are the takers. The givers and takers have to meet at one point. The point of intersection is utilization of the services provided by the government, definitely. And where are the areas to be strengthened? The last slide says that 2 to 3 towns in every district need to be equipped with diagnostic centers. நமக்கு இப்ப என்ன வியாதி வருதுன்னு நமக்கு பகுத்தறியக்கூடிய திறன் கூட இல்லை, லேப்ஸ் இல்லை பக்காவா. கவர்மெண்ட் லேப்ஸ், அதாவது இப்ப பிரைவேட் லேப்ஸ்ல எல்லாம் என்னன்னா மாஸ்டர் ஹெல்த் செக்அப்னு இப்படி போய் கார்டை ஸ்வைப் பண்ணா பையன் நம்மளுடைய மொபைலுக்கு மெசேஜ் வருது 11,000 rupees டெபிட்டட்னு. அதை பார்த்த உடனே பாதி பேருக்கு ஹார்ட் அட்டாக் வருது. ஸோ I personally suggest that these health checkups, master health checkups, வசதி இருக்கிறவனுக்கு தான் எல்லா செக்கப்பும் பண்ணணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. வசதி இல்லாத கடைக்கோடிக்கும் கடையனுக்கும் கடைத்தேற்றம் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் ஒரு கவர்மெண்டோட ஐடியாவா இருக்கணும். ஸோ கீப்பிங் தட் இன் மைண்ட், தி கவர்மெண்ட் ஹேஸ் டு ஓப்பன் அப் தி டயக்னோஸ்டிக் சென்டர்ஸ் வித் அஃபோர்டபுள் ப்ரைசஸ், ஆர் இஃப் பாசிபிள் ஃபார் ஃப்ரீ ஆஃப் காஸ்ட் ஃபார் தோஸ் ஹூ ஆர் லிவிங் பிலோ பாவர்ட்டி லைன். நம்மளுடைய ரேஷன் ஷாப்ஸ் பப்ளிக் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் சிஸ்டம்ல இருக்கா மாதிரி இதுலயும் நம்ம ஹெல்த் கேர் டெலிவரி சிஸ்டம் கொண்டு வந்திருக்காங்க நிறைய. சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் அண்ட் ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட் எம்ப்ளாயீஸ்க்கு இருக்கு. ஐ எம் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் பப்ளிக் ஹூ டு நாட் பிலாங் டு ஆல் தீஸ் கேட்டகரிஸ். இப்போ சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்டா ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்டா பார்க்காம வரக்கூடிய ரேஷன் கார்டு மாதிரி ஹெல்த் கார்டும் கொடுக்கப்பட வேண்டும். அதுல வென்டிலேட்டர்ஸ் இருக்கணும், ஐசியூ ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் இருக்கணும், critical care facilities and oxygen plants, which are life-saving techniques. And number 2, the national campaign for preventive health and testing and screening facilities, as these are the key to reduce the overall disease burden in India. And third one is encourage the Indian type of medicine. நம்மளுடைய பாரம்பரிய கைவைத்தியம் எல்லாம் விட்டு போயாச்சு. வீட்டில் ஒரு கோல்டு ஜலதோஷம் வந்ததுனாக்கா வீட்டில் 4 கற்பூரவள்ளி இலை இருக்கும், துளசி வீட்லேயே வச்சிருப்போம், 4 சித்திரத்தை இருக்கும், வால்மிளகு இருக்கும், சுக்கு இருக்கும், கடுக்கா இருக்கும். இது எல்லாத்தையும் இடிச்சு போட்டு ஒரு கஷாயத்தை நம்முடைய பனவெல்லத்தை போட்டு பாட்டி வச்சு கொடுத்தாங்கனாக்கா 3 வேளை குடிச்சா பட்டுன்னு விட்டுரும். இப்போ அதுக்கு ஒரு டாக்டர் தேடி ஓடுறோம். அவர் ஒரு 10 லிஸ்ட்டு மளிகை சாமான் மாதிரி எழுதி கொடுக்குறாரு, அதை டெஸ்ட் எடுக்கிறோம். அதுக்கு ஒரு 100 மாத்திரை. இந்த மாத்திரை சாப்பிட்ற அளவுக்கு உங்கள் உடம்புல ஹெல்த் இருக்கானா? இல்லை. Because the food that we consume today is not the food that our ancestors consumed. அவங்கெல்லாம் வாழ்ந்த வாழ்க்கையை நம்ம வாழல. எல்லாமே ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல். லைஃப் ஹாஸ் பிகம் மோர் ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல். செயற்கை உரங்கள் போட்டு தயாரிக்கப்பட்ட உணவுகளை உட்கொள்ளும் பொழுது இயற்கை மருத்துவம் மீண்டும் வர வேண்டும். கை வைத்தியம் வரணும், யோகா இருக்கணும், கல்ச்சரல் வே ஆஃப் லிவிங். ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி ஒன் ஆஃப் அஸ் ஹேஸ் டு டூ சம் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் அ ஹெல்த் ப்ராக்டிஸ். யோகா இருக்கலாம், மெடிடேஷன் இருக்கலாம், வாக்கிங் இருக்கலாம். வாக்கிங் இஸ் த பெஸ்ட் எக்ஸசைஸ். எல்லாருக்கும் போய் 10,000 20,000 கட்டி ஜிம்மில் பிடிச்சின்னா பண்ணணும்னு அவசியமே கிடையாது. அண்ட் இந்த மாடர்ன் காலத்தில் 100 ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் வச்சு கொடுக்குறோன்னு பேப்பர்லலாம் ஒரு கிளப் ஹவுஸ் கொடுக்குறோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி வீடு வாங்கறச்சே போடுறாங்க. இதெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு நம்மக்கிட்ட எங்கே நேரம் இருக்கு? ஸோ வாட் ஐ எம் அட்வைசிங் யூ, ஆர் வாட் ஐ வுட் அட்வொகேட் டு எவ்ரி ஒன் ஆஃப் யூ, please sit before God if you are a God believer. If you are a person who believes in God, atheist இருந்தா நான் சொல்ல மாட்டேன். You go for a walk. கடவுள் நம்பிக்கை இருக்கிறவங்க கடவுள் முன்னால உட்காந்து கண்ணை மூடி ஒரு 10 நிமிஷம் தியானம் பண்ணுங்க. That will calm down all your nerves in your body. Neuro system steady ஆயிடும். அதே மாதிரி டெய்லி ஒரு ப்ராக்டிஸ் வச்சுக்கோங்க, ஒரு 1/2 an hour, some kind of a practice, health exercise. யோகா பண்ணலாம், மெடிடேஷன் பண்ணலாம், go for a walk or go for gym if you are affordable. எது வேணா பண்ணுங்க, பட் ப்ளீஸ் மேக் இட் அ ப்ராக்டிஸ் தட் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் இட். இந்த மாதிரி நமக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய இத்தனை ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸையுமே நம்ம டெவலப் பண்ணோம். கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து the union budget has given many things. The union budget has given you அந்த இப்ப சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தா 60 லட்சம் பேருக்கு புதுசா வேலை வாய்ப்பு கொடுக்கணும்ன்றதையும் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. 9.2% of growth. இது எல்லாமே அட்டைன் பண்ணும் பொழுது இந்த 60 லட்சம் பேர் வேலை வாய்ப்புல மெடிக்கல் அண்ட் பாராமெடிக்கல் பர்சனலுக்கும் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா they will definitely cater to the need of the public. அதோட மட்டும் இல்ல, the national digital health ecosystem will be strengthened and telemental health programs can be launched successfully in the Anganwadis and the 23 telemental health centers. அதே மாதிரி அங்கன்வாடிஸ் திறக்கும் பொழுது அந்த குழந்தைகளுக்கு வரக்கூடிய பெனிஃபிட், all these things are the most welcoming signs. But still we are yet to reach the common man, the last man in the society. அதையும் மனதில் கொண்டு இந்த பட்ஜெட்டினுடைய தாக்கல் செய்யுமானால் டெஃபினெட்லி எவ்ரிபடி வில் பி பெனிஃபிட்டட். உங்களுக்கு இண்டிவிஜுவலா மாணவர்களே, இதை பார்த்து கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய அன்பு நெஞ்சங்களே, உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் my personal appeal to you is kindly take care of your health. Your health is in your hands, not in the government's hands. Government can allocate budget, government can give you schemes, but it is we need to utilize these schemes. With these few words, I take this opportunity to thank you all for having listened to me patiently. I think I have delivered the healthcare delivery system மாதிரி இல்லாம ஓரளவுக்கு பட்ஜெட்ல இருக்கக்கூடியதுன்னு சொல்லி my personal appeal, because I personally feel that I can utilize this platform to make an appeal to you for taking care of your health. My best wishes to all of you for a healthy living. Thank you so much.
Really, thank you, ma'am. Actually, it's an eye-opener session for us, relating with how the union budget has allocated the development of health sector, and how we as a citizen, how we should cooperate with them. Not only the union budget or government matram illama, we the citizen as a part, we have to cooperate from our part. And I hope our students will choose for a medical checkup and they choose to have a paramparya vaidyam from their home itself. And thank you for the eye-opener session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. S. Purnima for the session of Digitization of Records, the Strategic Path for Digital India. Ma'am, your session is yours, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. I am Purnima and I work for Sri Ramchandra Faculty of Management Sciences, one of the topmost healthcare delivery organizations, and we have 2 teaching hospitals. We have 2 hospitals attached to the teaching, and almost all the medical and paramedical courses are being offered. And I was listening very carefully to my former colleague and my mentor, Dr. Gst Prema, who is a health economics expert. Yes, what you said was right, ma'am, but then when we are actually seeing what is happening in the hospital, I'll tell you some things. I mean, India is perhaps one of the least spenders on health ecosystem today. It is ranking 179th upon 189 on the percentage of GDP which is being spent on health. Okay, at that point of time, what is happening right now is the out-of-pocket expense that is the patient has to spend on his own. Okay, whereas in countries such as UK and US, we find that there is the health spend is about 10% of GDP, whereas we are spending only 1.5% of GDP. Before I start off with my topic proper, I would just like to add on to what Dr. Prema has said. And then what happens is, this 1.5% of GDP, what happens is it lays a lot of human being, a lot of, what do you say, common man not being treated the way he has to be treated. For example, if I say a person who has a kidney failure. I speak from my experience. My mother was, I mean, every dialysis cost around 2,000, and every week she had to undergo three. So 2,000 into 3, 6,000 per week into 4, 24,000. Apart from that, various other expenses used to happen. So that, because my brother had an insurance scheme and all that, he was able to, she was treated the way she got treated. But there were some people who, I mean, my own maid's husband, who had the similar problem, could not have access to the treatment because of the cost. Okay, so as definitely, yes, our health is in our hands, but then when it goes out of our hands, there is nobody to finance these kind of people. And I am seeing virtually people here. We have one hospital which caters to rich and higher middle class, another hospital which is called the G block, which caters to the lower middle class. But then what happens is, even that cost people are not able to bear. So that is the kind of thing which is there. And if at all 1% increase of GDP is done by the government, uh, currently it is spending at around 1.75, it goes up to 2.5%. At least from the today, out of pocket expenses is about 65% of the expenditure is in the healthcare expenditure is met by out-of-pocket expenses. It can be reduced to about 30%, which will be beneficial to all citizens of the country. Now, coming to the digital health, I am digital registry, way forward to digital India. So before I go ahead to the research proper, I would like to talk about a few lines on digital India. Okay, so what is digitization? Digitization is defined as the socio-economic transformation that resulted from the vast adoption of digital technologies to produce, process, and circulate information. It has been seen in various nations that digitization has become a crucial economic driver nowadays, as it provides economic growth and creates abundant job opportunities. Okay, so why this digitization? This digitization is a crucial economic driver of things. For example, in my there are a lot of information which we gather on social media. If you have a mobile phone, you are, I mean, you are everyone. The information is very freely available today. But this information has got no cost but has value. Okay, it is an asset. That is why the first step in the government is saying that virtual assets, they're referring to cryptocurrency, no doubt. But I am telling you in a broader sense, in one of the research topics, what I felt, because my research topic is on digital marketing. What I found was that there is a lot of information which is available on the net, which is freely available. But because of that, the information has value but no cost. So it is not accounted for anywhere in the GDP. The GDP expenditure approach, because I am not expending any money on getting the data. For example, if I had to get data on digital, so for example, on the budget, what are the, I had to scan through newspapers and so on and so forth. But right now I get in a click of a button. So this has become, how efficient you are in disseminating information has become an economic driver, and there are many countries which are taking up, I mean, but it is unaccounted for in GDP because it's got value but no cost. And therefore, digitization is now known as the economic driver. Okay, so here, if I have to, I'll just like to give a brief history on digitization in India. Digitization initiated in India around 2 decades ago when companies with internet websites were considered of great value. This transformation, especially in the year 2000, any dot-com bubble, okay, any company which had dot-com means if somebody is working in such a company, we used to say that, okay, he's got a big, his salary is quite big. And many people also started blindly investing in the companies which had a dot-com in their end. This resulted in a boom for IT companies. Further, the government of India in 2006 planned to bring the initiative of e-governance. However, it was not very successful trial. With the same idea to digitize India and boost the economy, the Digital India initiative was launched in 2015. It literally boosted the transformation and transformed almost every aspect of governance. For example, we are talking about digital asset, digitization of health records. Okay, I will be concentrating more on the digital health records rather than cryptocurrency because I belong to health university, as say. So what happens is it has literally moved the way in which the business is conducted. So how can you, what did Digital India do? Because this is what the topic given to me is. What is digital records? Way forward for Digital India scheme to me. So unless and until there are records, we are not able to, get the scope of Digital India to the wide extent. Okay, what happens is all the villages, most of the villages fall under the Digital India scheme. So what happens is, what our Prime Minister felt was that at that point of time, instead, it should not be, India should not be divided on the digital aspect. Digital divide should not be there between have and have nots. For example, metro cities have a wider network. They are capable to, we are able to access the Wi-Fi technologies, whereas the remotest of the villages will not have. At that point of time, knowledge gained by a person in metro is much more because the information is freely accessible on the mobile phone. So our Prime Minister had the foresight to see it in way back in the when he initiated the in 2014 itself that India will not be divided between digital haves and digital not haves, and therefore the Digital India scheme aimed to boost the economy and to see that all the Indian villages etc. are wired so that they can conduct business very easily. That is how a farmer can find out what is being sold. At what rate is being sold, his produce is being sold in the market rather than going for a middleman. So that is what the things was. So objectives of digitization was all highways to have broadband services. I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
ma'am.
go ahead.
Yeah. So all highways to, the government had initiated steps to lay national optical fiber network in all 2.5 lakh gram panchayats. See, this is what is the most important aspect of Digital India. That is, no village can be left unconnected. Broadband is being laid for rural India and it will be made obligatory to provide communication infrastructure for new urban development. By end of March, the government has provided nationwide information infrastructure. That is why you find a smartphone in every hand, be it a rich person or a poor person, you find a smartphone. There are rarely people without a smartphone, and those people are those who do not want to have smartphone in their hands. Okay, not because of the lack of capability. Many schemes and very cheaply the smartphones were available, so everybody has found the use for it, and now it is being used. and easy access to mobile connectivity. Massive steps are taken to ensure that all villages are covered through mobile connectivity. Okay, IT training for jobs. Once the connectivity is there, every person can work in their own village. Okay, that is how we can now start working from home, or this pandemic would have eaten us. In fact, I should say, congratulate our education fraternity that when everybody was standing, not knowing what to do when the during the onset of pandemic in the year 2020, we were the first to adapt to the digital culture and started giving classes through the Google Meet, Zooms, and all that. So, we took the lead to show the way that okay, even in during pandemic, the students' learning will go on unhindered. Okay, and IT training for jobs. So, IT training is of course there. Manufacturing of electronics aims to restrict the import. So the electronics industry per se, we wanted to restrict the import, like people importing Apple phones, Samsung, etc. is fine, but we also wanted indigenously built. That is why whenever they subscribed to Geo, they got a smartphone which was quite substantial. You could do the basic functions like WhatsApp, etc. Providing public access to internet. Government focuses on providing internet services to villages. So e-governance, e-kranti would be make it e-governance. Of course, we have already spoken about many of my speakers. E-kranti would make it obligatory for every citizen to go digital by planning to provide electronic services to people which are related to health, education, justice, farmers, financial inclusion, and security. So these are the various objectives by which Digital India was initiated. Digital India provides three-tiered agenda, providing necessary infrastructure, digital empowerment to every citizen, and corporate governance. Okay, so vision areas of Digital India, if you take digital infrastructure as a convenience, it should be convenient to every citizen. Governance and services on demand, empowering citizens digitally, and digital economy in India. So components of digital economy is e-business infrastructure, that is hardware, software, human capital, etc. E-business, e-commerce. Digital economy is not simply about shifting business transaction from offline to online. It is about enabling economic innovations and transforming the facets. Okay, so this is about the Digital India Network. So what is right now, let me go to my presentation. So digitizing, also known as digital imaging. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah. And is defined as a process of converting any hard copy or non-digital record into digital format. This includes digitizing text, photographs, maps, microfilm, and converting analog voice recordings to digital media. Now, I will explain to you about the challenges we face in a hospital. So, most of the records are manual. We are talking about electronic health record, but we are not yet able to maintain the records of the patients for many years. Okay, so what happens is, for example, why is it important to maintain a digital health record? I'll just tell you. For example, a person comes with a heart ailment. They go to the cardiology surgeon, they get information regarding their socio-economic status and also other comorbidities, if any, and then then take them to electrocardiogram, ECG. What happens in ECG is they take that is a digital enterprise, but this digital graph is not integrated to the paper. There will be a paper file in which the readings or the profile is attached, and again the ECG graph also is taken out in paper and attached. Now, and then based on the surgeon's or the cardiologist's expertise, he'll read through the ECG and uh, diagnoses whether that person has a what kind of heart ailment does he have. Now, instead of having a paper and asking the socioeconomic status, etc., and then looking at the image processing itself, if at all we have everything in the record itself, I mean in the electronic record itself, it is easy for us to decipher, and when we collect lot amount of data, we will find that there are similarities. For example, if there is a heart attack, there should be a gap between two. I am not a doctor, medical doctor, so I don't know the. I mean, there is a certain pattern in which the ECG is formed. Now, what does that do? What has that got to do with this? Is over a period of time. For example, Ramchandra takes about around 20. I mean. Every year, there should be something in the region of 23,000 to 25,000 ECGs taken. Okay, so what happens is every time this happens, this is the data which is being lost. So if you find the similarities, that is the today the data, I mean, ages of big data, you have predictive software which can predict what kind of disease that a person has, even without going to the doctor. Even without going to the medical professional, once you train, the softwares are so big that you can find the correlation between the heart, I mean, there will be similar ECG graphs. The software will be able to compare between the ECG graphs, and if there is a trial person having the same set, he will be able to say that, okay, in all probability, this person has got this ailment. That is possible today with the available technology and data. But right now, our challenge is the data is all in the manual form. We have to convert it into electronic form. So this takes time, because everything. I mean, once you do it, it will be very easy. But before that, process of converting any hard copy, you have to scan through the various things. There should be a separate team which will work and put the records. Now, with what kind of pain that a person comes, or you will be able to diagnose. So this includes digitizing text, photographs. So I will just stop sharing this. I will just show you an Excel sheet. Okay. However, electronic health record is maintained by one of the hospitals which we took for analysis. So for example, we have, okay, you see on the screen, the age, sex, the chest. Okay, then what is the In one of the Google Forms, you can collect all this data and integrate the ECG form also and help predict the whether if your person comes to you with all the conditions, you will be able to predict whether this person is going to have a heart attack or not. This is possible if you collect all the data which is there, convert it into digital records, and then use analytics techniques to predict whether a person is going to have heart attack or not. Now, there are two aspects of it. Once it is digitized, okay, I mean, in health community, we have to, take care of the patient privacy. There are so many apps these days which come, Healthify Me, Ovia, etc. Ovia is a health app which helps people who are not yet had the kids to, to, what do you say, to keep track of their fertility cycle. To keep track of when many sensitive questions are asked, saying that, okay, what is your last period date? What is your period? So this is immense use to some advertisers. So I mean, it is privacy versus the benefit that you get. Okay, so the digital records, it is good to be maintained, but at the same time, we also have to have we have to maintain patient privacy in this case. So So, what would happen if you go and maintain records is you can access, I mean, if you have a digital health mission. So, this, previously what I said, the machine or the computer scientist is able to predict whether a person has what kind of ailment looking at the digital records. It is known as there is one more system of medicine which is coming up called the black box medicine. In fact, in one of the conferences which we conducted here, they were saying that yes, these days medical students should also be given I mean, they should be having the basic digital literacy, and they should have a computer technology also should be introduced into their syllabus, which is unheard of. So people in medicine, usually they get scared looking at numbers, but right now they are saying the doctors should also know about the basics of computer, and we find that there are many doctors going for a computer degree or a data analysis degree to specialize in health analytics as such. Okay, so documents and business records will be digitized. It can reduce storage costs. So now we have a medical record room, which is the size of I mean, it's quite a considerable size. It is being taken in our room. It can be converted to a classroom. Okay, but it is now used to reduce. I mean, the to take care, keep the medical records of about 10 years. Every patient's record has to be maintained for about 10 years. So we are maintaining it. We reduce storage costs. Yeah, if it is digital is there, it was not at all. It will be there in form of a chip. It would reduce storage costs, save time in retrieval, can be shared. I mean, if you once you have this digital record, you need not. I mean, if you feel the expert is somewhere else in the global, you want to consult a doctor from US, you can do it. Okay, so it can be shared globally and can be more efficiently tracked for compliance. Scanning and imaging documents in the organization provide a scalable solution for record information management. I should say, see, for example, India is a medical tourism destination today. Okay, so what happened was, I should share my experience. What happened was in our hospital, we found that there were a lot of international patients who used to come for various surgeries. Even Apollo has, Rela Hospital has for their own liver. But what happened during the COVID, with the travel restrictions, the regular checkup which a person comes, I mean, there are people who come from Pakistan, Sri Lanka, etc., I mean, every month to consult doctors because they don't have enough of hospitals. So what used to happen was that was stopped. So, because this is all the invention of COVID, I mean, what we or the governments could not accomplish, it was accomplished by a single bacterium called COVID. What happened was people started scanning. I mean, in WhatsApp itself, I mean, the doctors could consult. Previously, before, I mean, a doctor could never treat a patient if he doesn't come in person, if he doesn't see in person. But that was relaxed, and people were given regular consultation through the WhatsApp and Facebook and other digital media, whichever the patient was convenient in. And this could be possible only because they could scan the medical records, send it to the doctor by email. The doctor would check the documents and then give the necessary suggestions. So digital records were, the advantage of digital records were fathomed by the medical community during the last 2 years only. Previously, it was not done. They were not seeing people if they do not come in person. So this is one advantage where what is when we digitize the documents. How will digitization play an important role in patient medical records? That is, I've already explained that with an example. It converts all medical records into digital files, helps in saving time and money, lower production time. Retrieval is difficult. This year, though the most efficient of the systems we use, still it is difficult. If I ask for file, if the doctor asks for a file today, it will come only in 2 days or so. So it increases communication, collaboration in the team, increase accessibility, free up office space, streamline patient processes, and improves the quality of care, and eliminates risk of misfiling or accidental loss of records. Digitization of health records opens rich possibilities. As I told you, there is a separate stream of medicine which is having its roots. It is called black box medicine, where if you provide the records itself, the analytics of the software is so capable that it will be able to tell you what kind of ailment you have. Okay, that doesn't mean that a doctor is not required. A doctor is required to ratify it, but the majority of the job is, the diagnostics job is taken by the uh, algorithm itself. Now you may say there is a disadvantage. There is a disadvantage, yes, in the privacy, but then everywhere we find that the number of doctors to the number of patients required is very, very minimal. There are only 13 doctors for every 10,000 citizens in the country today. Especially there are people in metros but not in villages. So all this will be, so people in villages are having, people in metros are having better access to healthcare compared to people in villages, which is, and people in villages also with whoever, having higher money, higher net worth are able to access the best medical care. So, which is, socially speaking, it is not correct. Health should be universal. That is what we are talking about, universal health. In order to achieve that, you need to digitally, the country, the Prime Minister has had a vision and he has given a digital India infrastructure is already there. Now, the major challenge is to have digital registry that is of health, that is Dr. Prema ma'am has already mentioned what are the digital registry he has to have, and then the future of you for it will increase value for all. The what do you say? Right now, the accessibility of health is not universal. Universal health for all, if we have to do, we have to have this digital health mission. It has to ensure that for the digital health mission to succeed, we need to have digital records of all patients. At the same time, we should see that the patient privacy is not minimal. So this is about the digital health. And already when we are seeing, I would like to just tell you about one portal which is there already, where digital records are, it's already in vogue. So I'll just show you this. There is something, the government has started a e-hospital. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Okay. So this is the screen of a e-hospital. Can you see there is patient registration, billing, admission, discharge, and see here every hospital you can. There are many hospitals which have joined the e-hospital. So basically, because here what happened, all the government hospitals are right now under the e-hospital scheme, because they did not know whenever there was a COVID patient, when they had to take, they did not know where the hospital beds were. Okay, so this was an initial thing where there are already number of onboarded hospitals are 708, and you can actually go join e-hospital. I mean, if it is a hospital, you can join here, or you can go for, if you are a patient, you can actually say what your ailment is. The people at this site is going to direct you to the right thing. So this is the first step which the government has already taken for e-health, uh, uh, for the digitalization of records, so that everybody knows what are the healthcare facilities. That is what they meant, the digital registry. That is, what are the healthcare facilities available, what are the healthcare facilities, what are the doctors available, is the bed available or not, and where they have to go. Instead of going somewhere and saying that there is no space, you can have this into the scheme. So mostly by end of this budgeting year, or the another 2-3 years, this will be, all the hospitals would have already joined this. So with this, I would like to end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, it was a wonderful session where we can learn about the digital India and digitize the record, how to digitize the record, and how to digitize the electronic record, how they are getting prepared, and a website in the name of e-hospital as a digital registry. It's having a wonderful session, and thank you for being here for us, ma'am. And next, I would like to welcome Dr. Prabha Rajagopalan, and who is going to give a topic of education for the developed India. Prabha, ma'am, the session is yours.
Yes. Purnima?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Soumya.
Welcome, ma'am.
I'm extremely happy to be a part of this knowledge enrichment program organized by Srirangam Srimad Andavan College of Arts and Science, Trichy, which is managed by Sri Ranganatha Paduga Vidyalaya Trust. My humble pranams to Acharyan, His Holiness Srimad Andavan Sri VARAHA MAHADESIKAN. My sincere gratitude to CA Amangi V. Balaji, Secretary and Correspondent, Dr. M. Pichemani, Principal in Charge, Dr. Usharani, HOD of Commerce, and Convener of Nigama Samaj of PG and Research Department of Commerce. Hearty welcome to all my co-panelists, resource persons, and all the staff members, faculty members of Srimad Andavan Arts and Science College, and my dear students. The topic given to me is Education for Developed India, Union Budget and the Highlights on Education. Let me share my PowerPoint. One second. I'm Dr. Prabha Rajagopalan. Now, first of all, I would like to take you to the budget highlights. Is the screen visible, Soumya?
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
Okay, right. The budget highlights on education, I would like to present to you 5 main points which have been discussed by the Finance Minister, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, towards 2022. Setting up of digital university on a hub and spoke model. Now, I would like to talk to you about what is meant by a hub and spoke model. Now, normally, there must be a centralized hub to produce e-learning pedagogical materials. Pedagogical materials, now, it relates to the teaching art, the science and art of teaching, the materials that we use, study materials that we use through a central hub, and delivering them through virtual mode. All the electronic gadgets, whatever is available through internet, through phone, mobile phones, digital platforms, etc. Now, why this hub and spoke model has been introduced is then only we can leverage the fullest potential of information and communication technology, and whatever challenges generally we face with students who are located in remote locations, that can be overcome. So that is the basic purpose of going through this hub and spoke model. Now, what exactly happens in this is a centralized hub has to be set up. What are the audio visual tools required for that? That has to be arranged. Educational experts have to be hired for delivery. Facilities have to be installed for transmission of the audio-visual materials. So that is meant by hub and spoke model. So the Finance Minister laid down this as the first priority in the budget on education, saying that a digital university will be established with all these inputs. The second one talked about expansion of one class, one TV channel. From 12 channels, the expansion is likely to go to 200 channels. Now, relating to this, as a part of educational initiative, sector initiative, the Finance Minister announced that earlier, one class, one TV channel, which was established under the PM E-Vidya scheme, is now going to be expanded to 200 channels. The basic purpose is the pandemic led to closure of schools, higher education institutions, colleges, universities, and especially children from weaker sections and government schools lost 2 years of formal education. So this expansion has been done to enable states to offer supplementary education in the regional languages from classes 1 to 12. So what exactly will this TV channel concentrate on? High quality e-content in all spoken languages will be developed for delivery, as I told you earlier, via internet, mobile phones, television, radio, and through digital teachers. So in this, a competitive mechanism has also been developed for development of quality content by the teachers, and which would empower and equip them with the digital tools so that it will facilitate better learning outcomes to be established. So basically, all these prime highlights focus on boosting the digital economy and as well as bridging the digital divide which persists in our nation, which has also been stressed by Dr. T.S. Prema and Dr. A.S. Purnima. So there has been an unprecedented push for digitization of health records as well as education environment. Then the next one talks about recognition of centers of excellence on urban planning. In relation to this, the syllabus of agricultural universities, world-class foreign universities, and agricultural universities have to revamp the syllabus in such a way that it can accommodate natural, zero-budget organic farming and modern-day agriculture. That was one of the urban planning, and establishment of world-class universities. For that, a digital university will be set up to provide world-class quality and universal inclusive education to students all over the nation with a customized learning environment at their doorsteps, rather giving them a personalized learning experience. This is the fourth highlight of the budget relating to education. Then, world-class foreign universities are likely to be allowed to offer programs in financial management, fintech, then science, technology, engineering, and management. This would promote inclusive education, better learning, competitive environment for the students in a development mode, so that the growth trajectory is as per the allocation. If you see, the allocation done by the Government of India in this 21-22, it has increased to 1.04 crore in 22-23 compared to the previous budget, 93,224 crores during 2021-22. So now the enhancement in allocation proves that the government will be able to achieve all these targets which have been set by the Ministry of Education. And lastly, promotion of 75 e-skilling labs. This is to create a simulated working environment. This would promote critical thinking skills and give space for the students to bring out their creativity. And also, the finance minister stressed on the development of Desh Stack e-portal. This is actually to empower the citizens for continuing their education, to skill them, to upskill them, reskill them. And these cross-training measures which have been adopted by the Government of India will position India as a global hub for talent. Now, let me take you to the next slide. Now, relating to digital university, we find that the education system has promoted a shift in the teaching paradigm. Whether we are going to go for a completely digital and distance learning programs, this is a question that we need to ponder. So India is emerging as a skill-powered nation where there is mass communication and also open and distance learning mode or hub has been developed in various higher education institutions. Nevertheless, satellite support centers also have been established in various premier institutions across the country, and global institutions are likely to partner to enhance the satellite support centers. And infrastructure also has been allocated for upgradation. Amount has been allocated for upgradation of infrastructure and technology. In this respect, I would like to draw your attention to a scheme called PM E-Vidya scheme. What exactly is this PM E-Vidya scheme? Now, PM E-Vidya scheme is an initiative by the Government of India which has promoted various schemes. It's a comprehensive initiative which unifies all the efforts related to digital, online, on-air education to enable multi-mode access to education. Multiple channels have been developed through which free online study is promoted to the students who stay in remote areas or location. Relating to that, these are the measures adopted by the Government of India through this Ministry of HRD and Education. PM E-Vidya offers multi-mode access to education. The first one in this aspect talks about the two programs, portals, which have been initiated called Diksha. This Diksha relates to digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, where students from class 1 to class 10 were provided with portals which could be accessed through QR codes. We are all familiar with QR codes. And what does it contain? It contains online books of NCERT, CBSE, Central Board for Secondary Education, and National Institute of Open Schooling. E-books are available relating to these classes 1 to 12. The second national initiative for under this PM E-Vidya scheme is Nishtha. Nishtha is an abbreviation which can be expanded as follows: National Initiative for School Heads and Teachers Holistic Advancement. Now, this portal is designed for teachers in order to help them in training for digital delivery of classes so that learning outcomes of students could be enhanced, improved. The next one, actually this PM E-Vidya initiative has benefited around 25 crores of school-going children and several higher education institutions and students, especially in remote access. These Swayam online courses, we are all familiar with this. Many higher education institutions have introduced and students are also undergoing such programs. The Swayam online courses in MOOCs format. What is that? Massive open online access format or online course format is also offered for school-going children and higher education. Now, the Swayam is a program initiated and designed with 3 cardinal principles under the education policy. What are they? Access, equity, and quality. So the basic purpose of this Swayam is to take the best teaching learning resources on the part of teachers to all the needy. It seeks to bridge the digital divide for students who have hitherto remained untouched by the digital revolution and have not been able to join the mainstream of the knowledge economy. So that is about the Swayam. I would like to create an awareness about all these initiatives which have been brought forward under the PM E-Vidya initiative. The third one is Swayam Prabha. This is a group of direct-to-home channels which is devoted to telecasting quality educational programs 24 hours a day, 24/7. It hosts new content on a daily basis. And that content gets delivered, repeated 5 times a day. It allows students to choose convenient time. The contents are provided by National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, NPTEL, Consortium for Educational Communication, Indira Gandhi Open University, and IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, NCERT, and National Institute of Open Schooling. That is the program offered under Swayam Prabha scheme. The fourth one is extensive use of radio and on-air and community radio services. Radio is used for those children who are in remote areas, those who are not online. So these audios for personal contact programs are recorded and it is posted in the National Institute of Open Schooling website, which can be accessed by the students. And there are 3 different programs under this radio channels. Mukta Vidyavani. This Mukta Vidyavani is a popular platform for the learners, unique educational web radio and streaming audio for educational purposes have been developed. And this is the largest part of open schooling in the world. NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, organizes interactive web streaming through these personal contact programs. Now, these programs have established since 1917. These programs have been initiated by the Government of India. 5 glorious years of achievement-driven existence can be found relating to these programs. So, in using streaming audio for educational purposes. Now, apart from Mukta Vidyavani, there are 2 more programs. Siksha Vidyavani. Siksha Vidyavani is a podcast. Podcast of CBSE, which disseminates audio content. The audio content is various subjects, 9th, 11th, 12th. From 9th to 12th, in a timely manner, in an educative manner, lucid and seamless podcasts are being done in a seamless manner through this Siksha Vidya. And the last one relates to Doordarshan and Air. Broadcasting virtual classes and educational content across the country through radio, YouTube, and television. It is being shared. The 5th one relates to special needs, children with special needs. There is some kind of e-content developed for children with special needs. There are 2 categories which the government has laid emphasis on. One, for visually impaired learners, where study material is developed in digitally accessible information system, abbreviated as DAISY, digitally accessible information system. The lessons are generally broadcast on Jnana Amrit, one of the channel in Swayam. And for hearing impaired learners, the course content is developed and the NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, they have recorded it in a sign language. There is a sign language for hearing impaired. The recorded content is sent to the hearing impaired learners through DVD. And the last one measure adopted by the Government of India is for competitive examinations. What measure the Government of India has adopted for competitive examinations? There are online coaching rendered by Indian Institute of Technology, PAL, Professor Assisted Learning, IIT PAL, and e-Abhyas. This e-Abhyas for students is a coaching for competitive exams like Joint Entrance Exam and NEET, conducted by the National Testing Agency. So this provides a personalized adaptive learning platform for the students to help the students, and the IIT PAL lectures are telecast on Swayam Prabha channels through the radio and TV. So these are the 6 measures which are covered under the PM Vidya scheme. The next one I would like to talk about is Samagra Siksha scheme, which lays emphasis on holistic development of school teachers and school children. Now, the school education outlay has been increased to 63,656 crores, nearly 9,000 crores above the budget allocated in the last financial year. Now, this Samagra Siksha scheme is the country's biggest school education scheme, um, which has allocated 37,383 crores, an increase of 6,000 crores compared to last year. And the center has allocated 40,828 crores to the higher education department, which shows an increase of 6.6% compared to last year. So they try to integrate vocational education with general academic education. So with the aim of preparing educated, employable, and competitive youngsters. So these are the points relating to PME Vidya initiatives. So to summarize, this kind of online learning environment promotes an instructor to student a course delivery plan to the learners, and also it encourages collaborative learning mechanism. And the teachers offer various facilities. They are all trained and support to use these online tools and make teaching and learning very effective to the students. It is also supported by data analytics, where we can modify the course design, we can modify the collaborative exercises between the teacher and the taught, we can modify the assessment methods to various modules, and what is the need for training and effectiveness, that also can be assessed. This is a uh, summarized assessment that can be done. So, what is the future of online education in India based on these budget highlights? The internet connection has to be ensured and it should be quite stable. Correspondence education, can it be replaced with online courses provided these facilities are strengthened? Final exams can be proctored, which will improve the credibility of the entire exercise, and also classroom courses with online materials for difficult concepts and tutorials can also be arranged. So finally, I would like to say that digital transformation in higher education institutions will increase their competitiveness. It will reduce, though initially there will be huge cost for establishing the infrastructure, gradually it will reduce and it will reach a break-even stage and reduce the cost of operation. It will also improve the user experience for the teacher and the students and all the beneficiaries, and it will increase the agility on the part of the teacher and the students, ability to adapt ourselves to the new courses and environment through online mode, virtual mode. So, to summarize, this budget is changing the scope of education across the nation. So, as I told you earlier, it is giving an unprecedented push to digitalization in the education sector, and hope all the my teaching fraternity will take these things into their mind and do the best possible, promote quality education to the students, though we have switched from the physical learning mode to virtual classroom mode. Thank you.
Of course, ma'am. As we are from teaching fraternity, it's a prime duty to reach all the students and how the future of online education and how the union budget has been contributed towards that education in this budget. And it's really a nice session and knowledgeable too, that how the budget has been allocated towards the education sector and how much amount of allocation has been done by the ministries and e-Vidya program and regarding the educational portal, and it's relating to multiple mode of access to education. It's a really wonderful session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
And
you.
in the next session is Dr. by Rajachitra Manivannan in the name of SME startups and incubation towards sustained development. It's really session is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I must just quickly thank the organizers for inviting me. I don't want to waste too much time. Special thanks to Rakesh also, the principal, the management, the staff, all of you, a big thanks. I'll quickly move on to presenting the screen so that I know பசங்க எல்லாம் பயங்கர பசியில இருப்பாங்க. So
Of
I will
course,
just
they don't have even break now.
yeah.
Of
So
course.
I will just present the screen, ma'am. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Sorry.
No,
Not
Is
yet,
it
ma'am. Not yet.
not it, not
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 it.
yet?
yet, ma'am.
Not yet. Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay, quickly I will just start off. Okay, today we are going to, students, I know you're very hungry, but just listen to this for 10-15 minutes, because this is something which is relating to your future. நாளைக்கு நீங்க ஸ்டடீஸ் முடிச்சுட்டு என்ன பண்ண போறீங்க அப்படின்ற டாபிக் தான் இது. பட் ஐ நோ அந்த வயித்துல பசி எடுக்கும் போது இதுல ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றது கொஞ்சம் கஷ்டம்தான். பட் ஸ்டில் ப்ளீஸ் டூ, பிகாஸ் திஸ் இஸ் யுவர் ஃபியூச்சர். எம்எஸ்எம்இனா என்ன? ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் மைக்ரோ ஸ்மால் மீடியம் என்டர்பிரைசஸ். ஸ்டார்ட் அப்னா என்ன? யூ ஆர் கம்மிங் அப் வித் நியூ ஐடியா, இனோவேட்டிவ் ஐடியா. அந்த ஐடியாவை நீங்க ஒரு பிஸ்னஸா டெவலப் பண்ணணும். அதுக்கு என்ன பண்ண போறீங்களோ அதுதான் ஸ்டார்ட் அப். அதுக்கு ரொம்ப இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் இல்லாம ஒரு பிஸ்னஸ் ஃபார்ம் பண்றது தான் ஸ்டார்ட் அப். ஸோ வாட் இஸ் இன்குபேஷன்? இப்போ டேக் திஸ் எக்ஸாம்பிள். நம்ம சும்மா லோக்கலா நம்ம ஒரு கோழி இருக்கு, ஒரு முட்டை போடுது, அதை வந்து குஞ்சு பொரிக்கணும்னா என்ன பண்றோம்? அதுக்கு ஒரு நார்மல் ஒரு சர்டன் சஸ்டெயின்டு என்வாயன்மெண்ட்ல மெயின்டைன் பண்ணி அதுக்கு தேவையான சூடு இதெல்லாம் பண்ணி அதுக்கு பொரிக்கிறதுக்கு பண்றோம். அதே ஃபெசிலிட்டி தான் இந்த இன்குபேஷன். தே ஜஸ்ட் கிவ் யூ த ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ். அதுக்கு என்னென்ன பிஸ்னஸ் ஐடியாவை வந்து டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு என்ன வேணுமோ தேவையோ அதை கொடுக்கறது தான் இன்குபேஷன். சஸ்டெயின்டு டெவலப்மெண்ட், பிஸ்னஸ் நீங்க டெவலப் பண்ணிடுறீங்க, அதை எப்படி நீங்க சஸ்டெயின் பண்ணுவீங்க? சஸ்டெயின்னா என்ன? ஹவு யூ கேன் கண்டினியூ தட் பிஸ்னஸ் ஓவர் அ பீரியட் ஆஃப் டைம். டெவலப்மெண்ட், சஸ்டெயின் பண்றது ஒரு விஷயம், அதுக்கப்புறம் டெவலப்மெண்ட் எதுக்கு? அந்த பிஸ்னஸ் அதே லெவல்ல நிறுத்துனீங்கன்னா பின்னாடி வர்றவன் நம்மளை ஏறி மிரிச்சிட்டு போயிடுவான். ஸோ வாட் டு வி டூ? You have to progress. So that is development. So this is about my topic. So moving on. If MSME can be classified. Micro, there's an investment of 1 crore, small 10 crores, medium enterprise 50 crores. Turnover should be about 5 crores. For small enterprises 50 crores, and for medium enterprises 250 crores. Present Indian scenario enna? Present scenario for micro industries is 94%. So which means that 80% of the total production in Indian industries comes from MSMEs. They are the backbone of the economy, Indian economy. So 6.3 crore registrations have been done with Udyam, which is the MSME registration portal. So adula 5 states are leading: Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Rajasthan, UP. So MSME la neenga invest panningena, this is how you're going to be. முன்னாடி எல்லாம் மைக்ரோனா ரொம்ப ஸ்மால் பொட்டிக்கடை மாதிரி, அதெல்லாம் கிடையாது. இப்போ மைக்ரோ இஸ் 1 crore இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட், which is a lot of money. So MSME basically has different bodies, statutory bodies to help you. நீங்க ஒரு புது ஐடியாவோட வந்தீங்கன்னா அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ஸுக்கு போனீங்கன்னா அவங்க உங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன தேவையோ அந்த ஹெல்ப் எல்லாம் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் த காதி, காயர் போர்டு, மகாத்மா காந்தி இன்ஸ்டிடியூட் ஆஃப் ரூரல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியலைசேஷன், NSIC, அப்புறம் National Institute of MSME. So all these I will just move on fast. We'll come to the core concept which is going to be beneficial to you as a student. நாளைக்கு நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும்ன்றதுக்கு. ஸோ ஸ்டார்ட் அப்னா என்ன? ஸ்டார்ட் அப் வேணும்னா அதுக்கு முன்னாடி இனோவேஷன் வேணும். இனோவேஷன் வேணும்னா அதுக்கு முன்னாடி கிரியேட்டிவிட்டி வேணும். Whatever field you are, whether you are a student, whether I'm a teacher, you are in work, anywhere, you need creativity today. If you have to sustain, if you have to grow, you need creativity. அந்த creativity இருந்தால் தான் நீங்கள் innovate பண்ண முடியும். Innovationனா என்ன? It is a new idea that you think of, a new process that you think of in terms of business, or some new products that you think of. And you are thinking of this in terms of a commercial purpose, a business goal. ஸோ அந்த பிஸ்னஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றதுக்கான புது ஐடியா நீங்க ஜெனரேட் பண்றது தான் இனோவேஷன். ஸ்டார்ட் அப் இந்த இனோவேஷனை ஒரு ப்ராக்டிஸ்ல கொண்டு வர்றது தான் ஸ்டார்ட் அப். அந்த கம்பெனியை செட் பண்ணணும் நீங்க, அதுக்கு தேவையானது வேணும். அந்த தேவையான விஷயம் இட் குட் பி பிஸ்னஸ் ரிலேட்டட் ஆர் டெக்னாலஜி ரிலேட்டட், இது ரெண்டும் கலந்தது தான் ஸ்டார்ட் அப். ஸோ ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஈகோசிஸ்டம்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இட் கன்சிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் பீப்புள், தென் டெக்னாலஜி, தென் டேக் த எக்ஸாம்பிள் நம்ம காலேஜே ஒரு ஈகோசிஸ்டம் தான். ஏன்னா யூ ஹாவ் த மேனேஜ்மெண்ட், டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ஸ், சிலபஸ், எக்ஸாம்ஸ், ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ், ஸ்டாஃப் எல்லாம் இருக்கும். எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கரிக்குலர் ஆக்டிவிட்டீஸ் எல்லாம் ஒன்னா சேர்ந்து ஆப்ரேட் பண்றது தான் ஈகோசிஸ்டம். ஸோ அதே மாதிரி தான் கம்பெனி. ஒரு இன்ஜீனியஸ் ஐடியா, சூப்பர் ஐடியா நீங்க ஃப்ரெஷ்ஷா ஜெனரேட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க, அதை வந்து ஒரு பிசினஸ் ப்ரொபோசலா கொண்டு வரணும். ஸோ ஹவ் யூ கோயிங் டு டூ தட்? தட் இஸ் வாட் இஸ் அ ஸ்டார்ட் அப். ஸோ ஐவ் கிவன் யூ திஸ் ecosystem. If needed, I can even share the PPT. You can go through the contents. Now, what is incubation? Startup na என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம், innovation na என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம். அடுத்த ஸ்டேஜ், நீங்க வந்து பிசினஸ் ஐடியா போட்டு நீங்க பிசினஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்க. அடுத்த ஸ்டேஜ் என்ன, நிறைய டிஃபிகல்டிஸ் இருக்கும். ஃபினான்ஸ் வேணும், டெக்னாலஜி வேணும், எல்லாம் வேணும். ஸோ அந்த சிஸ்டம் தான் incubation. So it's basically an organization or an institution which is going to help the entrepreneurs. நீங்க ஒரு entrepreneur-ஆ போனீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு தேவையான ஹெல்ப்பை கொடுப்பாங்க. என்ன ஹெல்ப் கொடுப்பாங்க? உங்களோட ஐடியாவை ஒரு பிசினஸ் ப்ரொபோசலா டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் கொடுப்பாங்க. அதை தவிர வேற என்னென்ன டெக்னாலஜி ரிலேட்டட், பிசினஸ் ரிலேட்டட் ஹெல்ப் வேணுமோ அதெல்லாம் கொடுப்பாங்க. சால்வ் பண்ணுவாங்க. சேலஞ்சஸ் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணுவீங்க, அதை சால்வ் பண்ணுவாங்க. அண்ட் you will be able to get a lot of services from them in terms of seed funding, venture capital, help. They will not be providing you the funding. They will provide you information and help to seek seed funding, venture capital, and so on. Advisory services they will provide. Networking. In today's business, networking is the core concept. நம்மளுக்கு networking வேணும், which of course all of you in today's world do it very well as students through social media. So networking, linkages. So I've listed a few very good incubation centers in Tamil Nadu. Moving on. From incubation, what is the budget giving us for MSME? இப்போ நாளைக்கே நான் பிஜி முடிச்சிட்டேன், I'm going to start a business na, எனக்கு what is there in it from this budget, which is the core concept of our topic today. In the budget le first of all வந்து they are extending the facilities of emergency credit line guarantee scheme till March 2023. So அங்க இருக்க அதுல இருக்கும்போது you are able to get an additional outlay of funds from the government to the tune of 5 lakh crores, and this is going to also help to increase the number of beneficiaries under the scheme. அடுத்தது வந்து credit guarantee trust for micro and small enterprises. இங்கேயும் additional credit is being provided to the extent of 2 lakh crores. அப்புறம் linking of portals. This is very important because உங்களுக்கு portals link ஆச்சுன்னா it is easier for you to operate. எல்லா போர்ட்டல்ஸும் ஒன்னா வந்துடுதுன்னா there will be formalizing of skilling, credit facilitation, as well as recruitment services for MSMEs. இந்த ramp is a very very good initiative. ramp na என்னன்னா raising and accelerating MSME performance. So இதுக்கு வந்து 6,000 crores outlay கொடுத்திருக்காங்க for to be spread over 5 years. என்ன பண்ண போறாங்க? They are going to help you to improve your competitiveness. நீங்க ஒரு MSME செட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு காம்படிட்டிவா என்னென்ன பண்ணுமோ அதுக்கு தேவையான ஹெல்ப் இந்த ஃபண்ட்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணி பண்றதுக்கு கொடுக்க போறாங்க. And this is with the idea of raising the MSMEs to the global chain, value chain level. Okay. Now, some more about the budget allocation. Okay. Budget allocation doubled, 15,700 crores. End-to-end platform. If you're taking a government contract, 75% will be given back to you within a period of 10 days. 3 lakh crore collateral free loans kudukranga for businesses. Last but the most important, EODB. EODB na enna? It is ease of doing business. Ease of doing business 2.0. இதுல என்ன கான்செப்ட்னா மினிமம் கவர்மெண்டோட இன்டர்ஃபியரன்ஸ் மினிமமா இருக்கணும், கவர்னன்ஸ் வந்து ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கணும். So this is something which is very very important because compliance formalities நிறைய குறைக்கும். இந்த you whatever compliances you have to எதுக்கெல்லாம் நீங்க வந்து அக்செப்டன்ஸ் வாங்கணுமோ கவர்மெண்ட்ல இருந்து அதெல்லாம் ஈஸியா ஆக்கிடுவாங்க. அதுதான் வந்து இந்த ஈஸ் ஆஃப் டூயிங் பிசினஸ் 2.0. Okay, coming to the most important part. இதெல்லாம் வந்து you may already know. Now I'm coming to the what I'm going to get. என்ன பசியோட உட்கார்ந்துருக்கேன் இப்போ கடைசியில் சொல்லுமா என்ன what I'm going to get, tell me madam அப்படின்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருப்பீங்க. Okay, if you want to be your you make a niche place for you in your life. First of all, MSME நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண போறீங்க. many இந்தியன் யூத்தோட ஆவரேஜ் ஏஜ் வந்து இந்தியன் பாப்புலேஷனோட ஆவரேஜ் ஏஜ் வந்து 29. So what does that mean? 29 average age இருந்தா அந்த அளவுக்கு you have competition and அந்த அளவுக்கு you have space for growth, which is amazing. So when you have that much space for growth, what should you do? How you will be able to be better than the others? அதுக்கு you must equip yourselves with some very specific tools. First வந்து skill நிறைய வேணும். Skills are a must. அதுல மோஸ்ட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் இந்த பக்கு பக்குன்னு ஒன்று அடிச்சுக்குது பாருங்க, அது வந்து ஹார்ட் பீட் மாதிரி கம்யூனிகேஷன் ஸ்கில்ஸ். Many of our graduates are very intelligent as far as subject matter is concerned. But ஏன் ப்ராஸ்பர் பண்ண முடியலன்னா கம்யூனிகேஷன்ல we are lacking. We can beat it. அது வந்து கஷ்டமே கிடையாது. So you have to improve your communication skills. And you must focus on computer-based technology because today's business is completely with computer-based technology. You have the Internet of Things, you have machine learning. Most important, எல்லா businessலயும் artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence implement பண்ணாத எந்த பிசினஸும் இருக்க போறதில்ல in the near future. We are already having artificial intelligence. And it is said that when you have artificial intelligence, many people can lose their jobs. Jobs lose பண்ணீங்கன்னா எங்க போறீங்க? You can start a business. Implement artificial intelligence in your business and do it. அதுக்கு நீங்க அதை கத்துக்கணும். So this is very important. The government is providing these facilities, virtual labs, Prabha ma'am aptly mentioned. So, and another thing I want to put forth here to the universities and the colleges, please, we need to infuse computer-based knowledge into our curriculum. இப்போ மார்க்கெட்டிங் சொல்லி கொடுக்குறோம்னா e-logistics வேணும், கண்டிப்பா பிளாக் செயின் வேணும். They must know their computers. Only then they will be ready for the market, whether it's the job market or the entrepreneurial market. Only then the students will be ready. We have to equip ourselves. Now the students who are already in their PG, kindly take courses to develop your skills. Many courses are there in Swayam. Many free courses are there. You please do that. So end of the day, okay, skill develop பண்ண ரிசல்ட்டிங் அதை வச்சுட்டு என்ன பண்ண போறோம்? What are the areas in which I can sustain? Sustained development வேணும்னா with an MSME, there are certain key areas on which you should focus your energy. அப்ப நீங்க அதுல வந்து ரிசர்ச் பண்ணணும். You must innovate, come up with innovative ideas in these sectors. அப்ப you will be a bright shining star. Definitely your business will not fail. அந்த மாதிரி பிசினஸஸ் என்ன சென்டர்ல கொடுத்துருக்கேன் பாருங்க. சன்ரைஸ் செக்டர்னு ஒன்று இருக்கு. அது என்ன சன்ரைஸ்னா என்ன? the sun is coming out and it's going to make our day bright. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு செக்டர் தான் e-mobility. It's nothing but your e-vehicles, batteries, artificial intelligence, climate change. இந்த ஃபீல்ட்ல எல்லாம் நிறைய ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு ஃபார் MSMEs. அனிமேஷன், கேமிங், நம்மளுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே இந்த பேண்டமிக் டைம்ல சரியான கேமிங், பசங்க ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் எஸ்பெஷலி எக்கச்சக்க கேமிங் தே வெண்ட் இன்டு. யூ கேன் டெவலப் த கேம்ஸ். ஏன் அவன் எவனோ யூஎஸ்ல இருக்கிறவனோ யூகேல இருக்கிறவனோ டெவலப் பண்ண கேமை நம்ம ஏன் விளையாடணும்? நம்மளே டெவலப் பண்ணோம். We should make the whole world play the games that we are developing and you can do it. இதுக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் தேவையில்லை. ஒரு 5-6 பேர் சேர்றீங்களா, each one can operate from your home or you don't need expenditure for infrastructure. Now you have the concept of shared office spaces. Minimal rental, you can share an office space and you can take that place and do this job. E-waste, everybody is becoming eco-conscious. Maintaining the ecological sustainability is the talk of the day. In a climate change ரொம்ப அதிகமா இருக்கு, ozone depletion, எல்லாம் global warming எக்கச்சக்கமா impact இருக்கு. So இந்த e-waste sector has a lot of scope. Drones, now in this budget, it has been announced that drones are going to be given a lot of priority to be used in the agri-based sector. So drones, green energy, space economy, இதுல எல்லாத்துலயும் you can do a great job. Most important, clean mobility systems, very important. Last but the most important, carbon neutral strategy. ஒண்ணுமே வேண்டாம். You can design, you can innovate and design packaging material for our own products. எக்ஸலண்ட் மெட்டீரியல். முன்னாடியெல்லாம் நம்ம தையலையில ஒரு சின்ன தொன்னை மாதிரி தைச்சு அதுல நல்லா சாப்பிடுவோம். அப்புறம்தான் வந்தது இந்த பேப்பர் கப் கோட்டட் வித் வேக்ஸ். எதுக்கு அது வேணும்? இந்த தையலையே நீங்க இன்னும் இன்னோவேட் பண்ணி மாடிஃபை பண்ணுங்க. அப்ப வந்து அதுல போடுற குச்சி நம்மளுக்கு வாயில போய் குத்திக்கும், தொண்டையில குத்திக்கும், ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்தது. நீங்க இன்னோவேட் பண்ணுங்க. Do so many things. Waste paper, which is so many things can be done. You can establish a center where you collect reusable plastics. Other vachi, there is cloth being made from reusable plastic. Can you imagine? Cloth being made. So அதெல்லாம் நீங்க innovate பண்ணீங்கன்னா it's excellent for the micro enterprises and small enterprises. You will have a great scope in this. So I think with these ideas, I just wind up my session, and I want to just tell you that, give you the list of unicorns. Unicorn na enna, any startup which has a valuation of $1 billion or more in India is considered to be a unicorn. நம்ம ஊர்லயே இத்தனை கம்பெனிஸ் இருக்காங்க பாருங்க with valuation எல்லாம் கொடுத்திருக்கேன். So you can see this, and I thank the management for this excellent opportunity.
Yes, really, thank you, ma'am. It's a really informative session too regarding the MSME sector and classifications and relating to the innovative and creative startups and how the budget has been allocated for the MSME loans for businesses and ease of doing business in the 2.0. Of course, it's a developing country, and as we have to be do with business more and create a more entrepreneurs in our students. Yes, sir.
மேடம், கூடும் திரவியத்தின் குவைகள் திறன் கொள்ளும் கோடி வகை தொழில்கள் இந்த நாடும் படிக்கு வினை செய்து இந்த நாட்டை ஒரு கீர்த்தியங்கு மோக கலிசாடும் திறனை எனக்கு தருவாய் அடித்தாயே உனக்கு அறியது உண்டோ மதிமூடும் பொய்மையுள்ளலாம் என்னை விட்டு அகல வேண்டும். இவ்வளவு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் இன்னைக்கு பசங்களுக்கு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. Hats off.
I have some more, but I restricted because the children are very hungry and it's not the right time to talk to them.
Of course, sir. Of course, sir. Of course, ma'am. It's really we need to know about more about these things.
நிறைய இருக்கு.
கண்டிப்பா மேம். Of course, அது பார்க்கறச்சே எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஆசையா இருக்கு. அது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் பார்க்கலாமே அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு.
இன்னும் டீடைலா சொன்னோம்னா it's more informative, but then let's give them a break. Poor thing.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Shall I call up Kavya to sing a national anthem?
Yeah.
Kavya?
Yes, ma'am. जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभाशिष माहे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, students. And once again, I wholeheartedly thank all the resource person for giving their wonderful sessions and spare the time with our students for giving enormous informative sessions for us. Thank you, resource person. Thank you, speakers.
Thank you.
Rakesh, thank you, pa.
Thank you, Soumya.
Thank you, Miss Soumya. I'm happy to see you.
I think you have to mute.
Your
You're muted.
mic is on
Muted.
mute.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Really, thank
Thanks
you.
a
I'm
lot.
very happy to be with you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. If